fellow parents. The program today, which is a lecture on appropriateness in dating, will have two speakers, one for the boys and one for the girls, to address the specific issues and concerns of your gender. This activity is a tandem effort or collaboration between INSPA, which is headed by Mr. Joyce of Rebecca as president, yours truly is the Parenting Enrichment Program Committee Chairman, and the Guidance Services Center, headed by Mrs. Silva Ravis as Guidance Director. We would also like to acknowledge the enthusiastic support of the Office of the Level Vice Principal, Ms. Doris Dumaran, Discipline and Formation Officer, Mr. Christian Fernandez, respective teachers, Ms. Johnny Monserrate, High School Librarian, and our staff for preparing our venue, and the MULTER production staff, headed by Mr. Arnold Whitehall, for our documentation. Our speaker for today is an AB Psychology graduate, majored in Guidance and Psychology, a Doctor of Education who majored in Educational Management, also a Guidance Counselor and Job Placement Officer of the University of St. Salle from 1990 to 2008, and a faculty of the College Department since 1988. At present, she is the chairperson of the Psychology Department of this university. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lisa D. Hello. Okay, good afternoon again. I'd like to thank the administration of Salle, of course, with the initiative of the INSPA inviting me this afternoon. So, I'm here to talk about, what's this? Of course, table, kasi that's it. This is about dining, because I heard you're preparing for prom. Yes, are you excited? What are you excited about? After party, that's what you're excited about. Yes. Okay, so now what's gonna happen during your after party? It's nice to communicate when there's food on the table. Correct? So, we need to equip you in the proper way of dining. So, this is my part, the dining etiquette. So usually, we have a less formal dining setting in Bacolod. When you go to five-star hotels or other venues, you have a more complicated table setting than this. So I just brought the common table setting, which is less challenging for you. Okay, so what is the dining etiquette? It refers to a set of rules. So when there are you familiar with rules? Yes, there are what? When you talk about rules. Yes. Things to follow and what is the opposite? Things you should not do. Okay, so in simply said, we look at the do's and the don'ts. So we said, how makao lang may do's and don'ts pa. So it talks about a set of rules that govern expectations of social, that's communication, young gentlemen, and dining behavior in a group, or when you are going up, and when you will work later on in the workplace or any place in the society. Table manners, as we say, are visible signs that you are a polished, and a knowledgeable individual or professional. Okay. So here comes our utensils. So how do you hold a fork or a spoon? Usually sa lalaki, ginamuna, no? Right? Kaya mo na po basta masulot na sa baka. Gentlemen, we do not, as we say, do not make a twist around the handle. This is making a twist around the handle. Usually mga lalaki, ang hands nila, nakikita sa hands, hindi pwede. So, kinikilig ka. Hindi naman pwede nagdilig ka. Correct? So, ako na siya. A few fingers lang. Okay? You don't need to reach towards this area. At home, maybe you can do this. That's why there are rules. There are so many things that we do at home which we cannot do outside. There are clothes that we wear at home which we cannot wear outside. So, it's the same thing. There are behaviors that we are doing at home which we cannot do outside when we are in the public places. Okay, so we are teaching you on how to handle yourself better when you're going to a restaurant and presumably, of course, when you want to invite a dream girl or whoever is your date. Okay. So we have continental style. When you look around, like when you look at adults, sometimes you wonder why they use utensils, switch utensils, and so on. So there's what we call continental style. What is continental style? You cut food, syempre, you do not cut food using your mouth. Correct? So may knife lang. So when you use your knife, you use your knife with your right hand. Okay. So you use your knife and you cut like this, one at a time. Ang iba, what they do is they cut everything. Puso-puso ng ilang cut. So hindi pwede. You only cut a few and then put it in your mouth. Ang continental style. Okay, what is the comment, young gentleman who loves to communicate? What is your comment? Yes? One bit at a time, and then you use the fork in your left hand, times down. You have to times down. Times down. Okay? And then put it in the mouth. This is continental style. Okay? Now, ang isa, if you notice, there are people switching. Now, if they cut, right, left, they put the knife down, switch hand to the right. This is what we call the American style.
depende kung comfortable ka sa right hand mo, sa right hand ka masuot. Pero kung comfortable ka, kung mag-eat ka mo, gentlemen, I know sometimes we are very hungry, no? When we eat, hindi man ang mouth ta, nakukpan. Okay? So please learn that continental does not transfer the fork to the right hand. American lang ang nag-transfer. Here? Okay. Alright. When you are invited to a party, and there's like a long table, a host or your hostess are the persons who invited you to their home. Okay? For dinner. Now, what do? You cannot start eating even if you're really very, very hungry if the host or hostess has not started food. Clear? So, matulog pag na kaya na lang hapsik ka na. Hope he gets the point that kauna. So, maunahin na siya. That's etiquette, gentleness. So, tulog ka. Pagkaon niya natin pirang. Ito kami pirang. Okay? Nalog for so many years. Wait until everyone has been served before beginning. So usually, sa atol, because sometimes the service is not quick enough, as long as the host hostess has started and food is there, and then usually ang hostess na sensitive, makakabal sa, you go ahead, let's not wait for everybody. So once may prodding na, then you can start. Clear? And it depends on the service of food that's coming in. Never reach across the table for something. So, at whatever, matindog kasi yung ako, hindi na siya pwede. So instead, whoever is near that dish, tell them, excuse me, can you please pass the chonkawan? Okay. So, ang pasa lang siya. No, kadamo mga rules, no? But gentlemen, women, girls, look at how the boys or gentlemen behave. No? In psychology, your behavior will reflect your personality. So they will take a look at whether polished ka, may etiquette ka, or gusto ka. Yes?
I thought girls like pants.
Maybe you will be in, your family will host a party, and then there will be waiters around. Always amugin siya. The food here, the food is served from the left. Okay? And dishes are here from the right. There are many restaurants who serve food on the right side. So sometimes I tell them, excuse me, dili ka sa pihas. So, hindi wala na nila, ina-train well ang nila. But that is how it should be. Now, everything gets passed to the right. If you're going to take, kung medyo formal setting na siya, may bread din na siya. There's a bread and there's a butter. Okay? And there's a bread plate. Okay? And a butter knife. So, ginapasa, it says there, it has to be passed to the right. Hindi nga pag sa'yo, so hindi
pass papers in your class, like clockwise, counterclockwise, we do that. So it's like that. So it has to be in one direction. Okay? Eating kids, of course, when you were very, very small, you were taught this age-old rule. Do not talk with food in your mouth. Correct? Sometimes, so hindi na siya pwede. It's not cute. No, it's not cute. Plus, it's not a socially accepted behavior. No? So, ang balsa inyong friend, bastos, di amo ng example, siyang bastos. No? Na magkaon ka, you talk when your mouth is full, and then all the food particles are, flying out from your mouth. So that's a no-no. And I'm sure everybody will agree with me. You all would love to make a very good impression. Correct? So ang pinaka-importante, amo nang balundong ninyo. Hindi ko kamo magbalundong na gusto sa mga babae, bastos, that's not true. Gusto sa babae, they will look at you, first impression, and that first impression lasts for a long time. So chew with your mouth closed. That's why as much as possible, never chew a gum. Okay, never chew a gum, especially when you're talking to a lady. It doesn't look good. Okay? So makalupok ka pala. Now, if you want to date or something, stay away from that. When you're doing sports, stress or whatever, okay, go. But on a dating or dining, no. That's okay? Do not blow on your soup. This is a soup bowl, by the way. It's usually put on top of the plate. No? So this is a soup bowl. Okay? So it's put on top of the plate. Do not take it out of the plate and put it in your mouth. Let's leave it there. Okay? The one that's a little bit more circular is the soup spoon. Okay? No unnecessary comments and noises, please, as I go on. Now, when you use your soup spoon, okay? Siling niya, abi nag-aso na nagda siya, hindi pwede. Hindi pwede. So, etiquette niya, okay na. So, let it be. So, what you do, when kita sa balayta, when we drink soup, we do this, right? Now, in social dining, you put it away. So, this is how you do it. Ang unang limang ko. When girls see that you know how to use your soup spoon, 40 points. Pag spoon na siya, hindi na spoon, masunod sa bak, hindi na size ng spoon, hindi maamo na side. So do this and sip. This and now if the soup is so delicious that you want to finish till the last drop, but this is a flat. Okay? So what you do is you tilt this away from you and then you gather. Yes. Pogi points in niya. Okay? So, and then, of course, when you're done, do not let it stay there. Do not. Okay? Kita sa balay na ginaabutan na hindi pwede. Hindi siya pwede lang. Pagkatapos, the waiter comes and takes this out. And what do you have? You have your dinner plate. And then your pot for the main course. Okay? So here it says, do not leave the spoon in the bowl, put it on the saucer. Now, rolls. Tinapay comes usually earlier than the soup. So, is ako ready pa lang na nag-ako pa tinapay. Ang tinapay, knife, spread butter and eat. And then we stick again. Hindi pwede na tinapay isusok. Right? So, kuya, I love to drink coffee, and then I get pandesal. Okay, and then I cut it and really I just dip it in my coffee. That's heaven for me. But you don't do that when you are dining in social. Okay? So, so that's your salad. Who eats salad? You have salad. Very good. Salad na Caesar. Say congratulations. Wow. The rest? Fruit salad. Well, I hope you can try eating salad. Sometimes the lettuce, but not the lettuce is really very large. So what you do is just cut it a little. You don't say lettuce. Yes, say lettuce. So of course, each food rule, you don't put your elbow on the table. So for keep it good. Okay? Taste your food before seasoning, but at times in the Filipino restaurants, we don't really add so much seasoning as in the States, except sometimes we put ketchup or whatever. No, so taste it first. Don't drown it with so much seasoning and later on you realize, ay, sobrang ano siya. So taste it first. And when you taste small, eat it. Alright. Okay, ako na set. Alright. When there are so many on the table, do not be scared. Okay? So don't be scared. So ang pinaka-rule gift for dining with many utensils on the table will always be pick up silverware from outside coming in. Yeah? Nakaset na siya para in-order of appearance na siya. Yes? So, wala na ang rounded, may soup. May soup dish sila. Soup. So, coming in. Now, sometimes they say the best rule is observe the nawan nila. Sometimes it does not work because the person you will be observing may not know what to do. Okay? So, if you commit a mistake, you will also be committing the same mistake. So, instead, be more confident, kabalo ka na. Siling ito ni Miss Lisa from outside coming in. Yes? Alright. So, put that in on the lap. Of course, you put it on the lap. Unless you go to a restaurant, a crab restaurant. Kung crab restaurant, you put it here as a bit. Because they should have but here, put it on the lap. Do not put it on the table. Ang puso-puso mo lang siya. Okay? So it remains until the completion of the meal unless of course you go into a crab restaurant. Now this is the pinaka formal setting, pero we don't find it here as much or as often. So look at how many items there are on the table. Okay? Now this is what I was saying, the bread saucer and the bread knife. Okay? Now there's another one. This is a little simpler. This is similar to what I just put in with glasses. Ang tulog medyo the wider brim is water. This is water. And It's on the plate. Never hanging. Huh? Yes, there's a question. This is the simple. Pinaka-simple. Gusto ko mag-tell. Pinaka-simple lang siya. Now, if you need to remove the food, may medyo ano siya. Ang meat is daw, so what do you do? Remove it the same way it went. So where? It came from a spoon, right? So, pagkaon mo, 5 minutes ka nun. So you just slowly tap. Do not create so much fuss. Ang iba na gentlemen, they use the napkin. Remember, where does the napkin go? Can you imagine there's meat there? And then put it on your lap. Okay? Now, for hard items, you use your knife. Ito, would like it, or a whistle and push the chance onto your fork. So, sorry. Huwag ka would like it, alright? Then, i-grab siya. Hindi ka kamot. Okay, moving on. Again, so lay your fork. Like it can be used to put fork and so when you don't want to be, when you're done already, or even if you're not done, ang knife, facing ka muna. Ang knife, like this, the jagged edge should be facing you. Okay? Correct? Nothing hangs. Okay? When you're done, what do you do? The 4 to 10 o'clock position is fixed. Okay? You cannot tapos na po. The waiter will not get your plate because this is still open plate. Yes? This is closed plate. 4 o'clock. Huh? So leave the plate the way it is. Do not apoy mo ito sa tumak sa lamesa. May kapalan ka na. Leave it lang. Keep the back against the way it was folded. Okay? So when you're done, pagkatapos na. Okay? Ay, sorry. Dili lang. Dili lang. Ang may iba, especially I always see this with the guys. They put the napkin on the plate. Okay? Yeah? Then, pwede ka ba na kumalalim ka na naman kay mapakatong buffet? Medyo kung buffet style siya. Pero ano yung table natin? Now, there's another school of thought that says, when you're going to get out of the table again to get more food, you can put your napkin on the chair to indicate you're not done. Yet, there's another one that says the simplest way is just put it on the table. And then go get food and come back. And then put it back on your lap. Here? So, of course, when it's a formal dining, you cannot common and some. But in the college, 3 o'clock. Excuse yourself to the restroom. So when you're about to like sneeze, alright, the sneeze just doesn't just come out of nowhere, right? So there's an itching already. And so excuse me, please, let me get up. Just on the TV, whoever invited, then of course your wallet, you have enough money, etc. Do not go to a very expensive restaurant and then you ask the lady for a date. Usually a sensitive lady will also find out what you want to check whether you do have money without asking for the cut. So tanong ka, kung pwede na stay. Stay. That means that's a ticket already for the girl to say, she has money. Don't go to an expensive restaurant and say, and the lady asks you, what will you take? So when you go to an expensive restaurant, expect to pay. So appropriateness of attire for a day. So when you want to go for a picnic lang on the park or at the park, it will be casual. Alright, what's the casual clothes now for a day? Siyempre t-shirt, what else? And for footwear, what do you wear? You wear shoes. Unless you want to go somewhere, beach, then you wear slippers. Appropriateness. But this is something I love to discuss. What color of shirts do you want? What's your favorite color? Anyone? What is your other color that you like to wear? For a shirt? You like blue? Who likes red? Okay. Who else? Who likes pink? Who likes yellow? No? Alright. The trick there is to choose colors that complement your face. Okay? Women expect blue, black, boring. Okay? Learn to be more confident in colors. Okay? Because when you wear colors, that actually reflects confidence. It's okay if I wear pink. It doesn't mean anything. Because I look good. It's okay if I wear yellow. It doesn't mean anything. But I look good. No, hindi ka mo pareho sa tanan. So, pag naman ko na so, pinaglan, experimental colors. For the prom, I inserted this for the prom. Okay? So when you are going to invite a lady for the prom and then you're going to pick her up, be ready with, I don't know if that's what you do. Naming my corsage. Ang corsage, you put it down on her wrist. Okay? Usually, a lady puts the corsage on the right wrist because the left is where the watch is. Now, it's called a boutonniere. The boutonniere is for the men, like flowers, whatever, roses. Damo lang ang nakita. Now, when they put that, let's say this is the, this is the stem, right? This is the petal. Damo na po nakita na dinasuli, hindi na siya pagsulikod. Ang gitna siya yan, the way the flower grows. Okay, now, when flowers will be pinned on the woman's chest, okay? Kinahanglan, abi ko flower, kung hindi ka corsage, depende na sa inyo, basta anong foods ka wala. Basta just in case that in the future you will make use of it, any flower for the lady should be on the right side. I have seen so many na ang women, they put it on the left. It's on the right. Now, ang lalaki, hindi ka mo sa left. You know why? Because when you dance, when I borrow you, because when we dance, mag-dance, kung ang flower, kung aris here, hindi siya maiko, maipit. Okay, so lock it in the closet. Nobody wants to hear that. Di magtingkal, ang buko niyo, may ang buko. Nobody wants to hear that. Ikaw lang na. That's why conceited, bakit ikaw lang gusto mamati sa gusto. So, expectation of your, now, of course, when you want to go on a date, you have so much high expectations. Tani mamuni. Now, at certain times, it's nice to plan your activities, alright? But do not expect so much. Okay? What is more important is figure out what you need to give during your day. Okay? Give of yourself, give of what you need to share in terms of your thoughts and ideas. Ang muna niya para ang expectations, no? Eventually will be reached. And put off anxiety. Everybody's nervous. Okay, so don't let it show in your bubble. So everybody's nervous. I'm sure your date will be very nervous, very anxious. At the same time, also very excited. No? So, pero kung ikaw nag-control and you show your date that you're calm, everything's gonna be fine, we're gonna have a good time. So, relax na. Don't be like that, okay? So I don't want you showing these faces, alright? Because contagious ka ng anxiety. So be on time for the date. Being on time shows you respect their time. Okay? When you want to pick her up at what time? When you want to pick her up at 6, you pick her up around that time. You don't pick her up at 8. Okay? Because the parents will get irritated. And you do not want to tire the parents. Right? So, kailangan po 6, 6:30. Okay? Now, if you are running by day or by day, we send the message that you do not really care about the person. Gentlemen. Gentlemen. The ladies are not as impressed with your words. They are more impressed with your actions. Okay? So, balik na sa text, I love you, I love you. Hindi na sila pupunta sa akin ng babae. Your words have to be consistent with your deed. Yes? Picking up your date. I've heard this when some parents heard that I was going to give you the etiquette on dating. I've had a few parents coming to me and say, do not forget the honking of the horn. And I would say, it's in my office, okay? Parents, I'm sure you want to impress the parents, right? Parents, cross the street. It's good if you know. Okay? So when you cross the street, where is the danger side? Which side? Right side. Correct? So if I'm facing you, the danger side is where? Right side. If you have a date or any woman with you, you go on the date and stay. Even if initially when you were walking with kaya sa left, sa'yo mo ka din siya. Nasuko. Bahala na may pinta. Correct? Now, kung pag-suli naman, diin na. Suli ako, British. Okay. Kung katapong ka galing kami from here, the danger side is here, katapong ka din. Dili ka. Dili ka naman sa dalan. Now, on the sidewalk, what is the sidewalk? This is the sidewalk. This is the street. Okay? Sidewalk ko. Where is the danger side? Right side. So you take this side. When you're walking. Story ako. Lapit sila. Yes? Hindi pwede na hindi pa kamo. Gusto na mga girls are sa side. Believe me, you will gain pogi points when a woman sees you are switching places because it means you are sensitive. Sensitive. Gentleman, ginaya, takda, ginaya nga check mark. So kung wala na I seldom see that. Sometimes I tell you, na ikaw lang. So you do not wait for people to teach you. But the fact that you know, pogi points right now. Okay? So the man precedes, and the woman precedes the man to the door. When you open the door, I went on a trip at one time. My leader was a gentleman, and he was way older than me. Okay, so I presumed he was a gentleman. Every time he opens his door, because he was the leader and we were just like members. So every time he's the first one to open the door, he opens the door, gets through the door, just leaves the door. Good man. Not a gentleman. Okay? So when you're here, you open the door and let the window pass. Okay? Basta may puntahan na unahan sila. Hindi maubos, hindi matulak, kalagtuan yung kung sino ko. Pagkas late. Okay? So please, gentlemen, believe me. When you behave like that, no matter, wala ka lang inaihambal, pogi points ginaya for the girl. Okay? Don't forget, before we had uni games. Every October, we had uni games. We had athletes, college athletes coming here to Salle competing. So we had colleges, athletes coming from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And of course, they have to rent the transportation for the team to come and go wherever the venue is. You know what? One time I saw an athlete, a gentleman, sa jeep. Sa jeep, sa dyan na pero ugay ko sa kainan niya, sabi na yan, no? At you know what he did? When the athletes, kaya Puja, I think Puja yung girlfriend niya, together with the teammates of the girlfriend. Pagkasunod, pagsaka sa jeep, anak siya sa entrance sa jeep, daan siya sa ligat, anak siya. And then nagalabay, ang athlete isa-isa yung inaano. So, pagtulog ko, how nice. Okay? So, ipantayan ko na siya. When they return to the university, because they are billeted here and they stay here in the university. So, one time I saw the team again. So, he was the first one to get down. And when he got down again, ano na tayo? Beautiful sight. Beautiful. Okay? So, that's a way to a woman's heart. So, man opens car doors for women and assists them in getting in Because the text represents the words in your mind. Correct? Correct?
Yeah.
So the Bible says, out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. So be very careful. Conversation mistakes do not correct your mistakes all the time. So do not gossip or swear. Sometimes they say, you know, one of the arguments we constantly have in the classroom, particularly when we talk about gender differences, they will always say, Miss, who is more chismoso? Who's more mahilig in chismis? The girls or the boys? There are many boys now who also gossip. So be very careful. Stop gossiping. Degrade someone. Crack jokes that only you find funny. Okay? If you crack a joke and you're the one, okay, quiet ka na. Do not deliver another line because it doesn't sell. So what is most important when you crack a joke, alright? Never, never crack a joke at the expense of someone else. Never. Do not tell a joke na ang victim mo isang katao na meaning. Pero if you share an experience na ikaw ang nagsadla or something funny happened to you, that's good. Because it talks about you, not someone else. Is that clear?
Go about someone's mother.
That's not a nice joke. Never talk about something in terms of expensive. My mom, never talk about, oh, you know my wallet, and this is really expensive, my watch. Never. Especially if nobody's asking about it. Okay? Interrogate. Offer only an opinion. Offer an opinion when you're asked. Talking on the phone. So you're on a date, and then you spend most of your time talking to someone else. That's again what we call a spouse. Okay? So if it's an important call, your parents might be following you up or finding where you are. They say, excuse me, I need to take this call. And then you leave the table and then Mami, kahit walang kami it's okay na to talk to your parents. You're still kids. Okay, you're still minors. So don't be embarrassed when you talk to your parents. Okay? You need your parents at this time. So don't be embarrassed. And then of course it's a no-no. So not talk about your never compare. Okay? Never talk about it. Or aside from comparing, do not say, oh, si Amso, si Kurta, di ako lang, hindi ko matasan. it is because of the process called adaptation. Yes? So, hindi spray ka lang ng spray, narinig mo ng date mo. If your date has asthma, then dress, do not dress inappropriately. We've talked about dressing. Alright? So, please wear clothes that are appropriate. Sa una, sa church, I don't know now if the church allows. Sa una, you cannot go to church wearing slippers. Ang subo, talaga tumot sa todo, uso na, dapat kabayaw na, things like that. Where is appropriate? Because, you know, there's a rule of thumb in this world. Listen, listen, listen. Are you listening? Very good. Not everything that is popular is right. Okay? Not everything that's popular is right. Kasi, Miss Popular na ni, or you tell him, mapuso na ni. It does not necessarily mean right. Okay? So please be very careful. You need to know what's right from what's wrong. So I'm sure you're not drinking pa. So make bodily noises. Do not make ano mga bodily noises? Okay lang na. Laughing is okay. But sometimes you make fun with your armpit. Hindi like that funny. But the day is really not funny at all. Okay? So muna. Okay lang. And then don't make animal sound. Okay? When you laugh, please be careful of the sound of your laughter. So don't be like menagerie of zoo sounds or whatever. Never groom yourself in public. So, okay na nag-istabang mo ako lang na siya. But some people really bring home, especially in restaurants. You cannot comb your hair in a restaurant. Katotoo ka, kung galing kang brilliant, ka lang yung pasok sa biglang. So even if your hair looks like that, don't comb it. Okay? You need to put on gel or something. So how do you have a date? So compliment her. When you see her and pick her up, say something nice. Okay? Say something nice, positive. Oh, you look good tonight. Hindi ka ba, grabe ko po, wow! Appropriate behavior. So, nice compliment, ulit ka. And smile often. So, kung mag-smile ka, smile lang. Ano ba lang? Again, smile only when it's appropriate, correct? So, abi nagasin ko, sweeting ito sa seminar, smile ito. Kumusta si Lola? Patay na. always say the name of the person who is of the highest position. Yan ang name na. Hindi ka mambala. Si Juan Galindado? No. Dad? Ang yan ginagalan. Or si teacher mo, Miss Reyes? Ako man ang rule of thumb. Okay? Always the person of the higher position. Correct? Now, kung ari ka sa Lasal, kung sino ang tagbalay, ang pinangunahan. So, for example, if you have a foreign guest or something, right? So, hindi siya from Lasal, you mention the tagbalay. Okay? Miss Limas, this is Scott. Ika Scott, Miss Limas. Okay na? So, always mention the name of the person of the highest position or the one who resides or is in that particular position. Okay na? Okay. So again, never forget to say thank you, excuse me, what else? I'm sorry. This is done, I think, my last message to you. Gentlemen, whether you like it or not, this is my last message. Above all, always, always treat your date. Well, be very sensitive to what she needs. If she needs water, go on the waiter right away. No? Di ba? Kaya pwede. Waiter. Pwede. Ali, this is nice. I hope you will take this one. I put it on a person because I like to have a personal touch. Gentlemen, pamate. Give the person you're dating with a special memory. So, if you're a good guy, para usually mga ladies, para gentlemen, mga romance. No, we are all romantics at heart. So we would want to look at the word something else or whatever that reminds us of the okay, so please remember that. Questions? Question. In my class, when there is no question, I get insulted. Because it means well, that depends on the parents. Ang immune, well, usually, before midnight. Now, before midnight, you have to bring your ladies. Parents, when can we ask the parents? Parents, what time is the appropriate curfew? What time do your parties start? Usually, what time do they start? You bring them home at 10. What time? Unless the parents already know you very well. That's why it's very, very important to introduce yourself to the parents, create a beautiful, positive impression. So that the parents will trust us. Trust us, I trust us. And then bring them no more. I just want to share. No more question. Have we learned something? Now these are really old age old things that you learn, so sometimes you need to be reminded. Okay? Before I end, usually I want to share something. The persons I share my moments with. but full of scars. It had places where pieces had been removed and other pieces put in, but they didn't fit quite right, and there were several jagged edges. In fact, in some places, there were deep gouges where whole pieces were missing. The people stared. How can he say his heart is more beautiful, they thought. The young man looked at the old man's heart and saw his state and laughed. You must be joking, he said. Compare your heart with mine. Mine is so perfect, and yours is a mess of scars and tears. Yes, the old man said, yours is perfect looking, but I will never trade you.
address the specific issues and concerns of your gender. This activity is a tandem effort or collaboration between ISPA headed by Mr. George Overbeck as President, Mrs. Cristina Horado as Parent Innovation Program Committee Chairman, and the Guidance Center headed by Mrs. Silva Rogers as Guidance Director. We would also like to acknowledge the enthusiastic support of the level Vice Principal Ms. Doris Dumaran, Discipline and Formation Mr. Christian Vasquez, respected teachers, and the MULTER production staff headed by Mr. Arnel Becron. Our speaker for today is a registered guidance counselor who graduated from the University of Salle, Bacolod City in 1982 and 80 psychology. She is into teaching and counseling for 25 years, a much sought after resource person, lecturer, facilitator, and counselor due to her vast knowledge in her field of endeavor. She is a retired guidance counselor by education, hospital management, information management, common science, commercial science, and law. Also the total person coordinator and performing arts committee member of this university. Please welcome Mrs. Adelina Euro, who is fondly called by many as Tita Nana.
Good afternoon, girls. May I know what range of age you are in? 14. Is there anybody 14 here? Wait, double. 13? Wala. 14. So 15, 16, 17. Nobody higher than 17. Okay. So you are now, I'm sure, very excited over the fact that you'll be having your junior prom. And so I was asked and tasked to tell you what are the appropriate behavior that you should know when you go to a prom. I have been part of St. Scholastica's Parent Association from 1960s, I think, until all my daughters graduated finally in 1986. So I have been part of all of the junior proms that my children were in, and I had 5 girls at St. Paul. 5 girls and 3 boys. The 3 boys were LaSalle, but after the big hullabaloo of the planters and brothers, they were transferred to San Agustin. And that was a long time ago. Okay. Anyway, so your parents' association feel that it is appropriate that you be also told what are the things to do on this day that you look forward to. Okay? And that is your prom. And I'm sure, or I think, or I don't know whether it's going to be a good guess, that for some it be your first formal date. Maybe for others, naka-date na. No? Maybe for others, kasi may boyfriend na. So looking at you, you're still, well, I think in the eyes of a parent, very young. But today, there are so many things that you will have to know for your own benefit and for your own good. And one of them maybe is how to behave during prom. Some of you might have already been going out and probably feel secure that you know how to behave when you go out. But others, it will be for the first time, right? How many will experience this for the first time? To go out on a date? Uy! So, walang interview, no? Kaya po kasi yung isang experience ka. Of course, ang inyo siguro ka dating niya, matataw sine, makaon sa Bob's, or makaon sa hindi na favorite shoe, or makato sa Korean garden, Korean grill, no? AGP, is na pala teenagers, no? Because I have grandchildren. I have 15 grandchildren. And there are 6 of them have finally finished college. And so they still have high school, and I have elementary, and right now we have a 1-2-month-old baby. Not a baby, ako. Anyway, I think what is going to be appropriate is that you know how to behave when you go out of the business. First of all, during this occasion, I think you invited the one you wanted to be your date, right? Is this somebody you already know? Is it already somebody you know and very familiar with? Okay, good. Then you're not going to feel sort of parang awkward. No? And one of the benefits that you have going to school here in Salle and being educational is that you will feel comfortable. You are comfortable with the boys because you grew up with them. No? So hindi na ka mo mga shy kang magpakimik-kimik pa. No? Unlike some girls who are in an all-girls school will find it rather parang embarrassing to be with boys for the very first time. But since you've been with the boys growing up, I'm sure, if you started your elementary here, then you've been with the boys all throughout. And then if they're the ones you're going to have for a date, then all the more comfortable you're going to be. So that is not going to be a problem ang small talk. But we have to start from the very beginning. Since you have chosen your date, the first thing is, when the boy comes to your house, no, hindi ka nagahulata ka mo sa gate. That's why I always tell the boys, it's the most impolite thing to do. Now, when you go out to meet a girl, pick up some girl, or going out on a date, businahan nyo lang. No? That is an insult to you. Nga businahan. Mas insult to pakit kung nadalagan ka man kuha. You follow? So, when a boy comes in to take you to your graduation prom, then at least it's good if your parents will be home, so that when the boy comes in and says good evening, ang una yung masugatan will be your parents. No? Hindi ba ka mo magpakita ka ng hara-hara na gid ka mo, medyo parang nagtuulman and then wait until they will call you that somebody, your date has already picked you up, is ready home. Then you can come out in legal. No? Come down, say, hagdan to the hagdan pagin. No? Come legal. Okay? And I suppose that your date will bring you a corsage. No? Now, it all depends where the corsage will go. Ang iba niya yan sa kamot ginabutanga, no bracelet. May iba niya yan nga it's a corsage that has to be pinned. Now, that becomes a problem for the strapless. No? So, kung the strapless, then kung mag-strapless ka, kakagdown mo muna yun, amo na niya, kaya ano na karon. So that will become very embarrassing also for the boys. I remember there was one junior prom at Saints ko, na ang isa ka girl, she was the student leader. Ang iya bio it was not strapless, but it was strapless sa sunod, pagka-flimsy sa babaw niya, may takutin pa siya. No? Kasi siyempre iya. Kaya ang iya date, no, ano na kung di niya ibutar, ang corsage, hindi nakagwantan tatay. The tatay stood up and was the one who pinned the corsage. No? Kaya abya siguro ba ako diyan, basi may uyatan pala na kron. So, better na lang to tell your date to bring you a bracelet corsage. So that kung magbayad ka mo, at least intact siya. Okay? So that's, and then, introduce your boy escort, your date, your date, introduce, if your parents have not met him yet, introduce him to your parents. So when you introduce a boy to your parents, how do you do it? Okay. You call your mom and dad, Mom and Dad, I'd like you to meet by date, say Tony. Tony, I'd like you to meet my mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs., whatever is the name, or Tito and Tita, whatever. But you don't tell your boyfriend, Tony, these are my parents. No, you don't introduce your boyfriend to your parents, you introduce him to your parents, you say, Mom and Dad, this is my date, si Tony. You follow? You say, Tony, these are my parents. You introduce mo parents mo sa iyong boyfriend. No. You follow? Okay? Alright. And then when you go out, allow your date to be a gentleman. A gentleman will always open the door for his date. You follow? Kulat ka mo, niyapihan niya ang puerta. Okay? So as we say here, to let you in and to let you out. Remember, you'll be in a gown. No? You'll be in gown, right? Not pants. Okay. Therefore, you will need assistance man to get in sa sasakyan. Okay? Hindi kayo kamo tayo na maharara abis sa puerta. So you allow the boys to be gentlemen even for an evening. I remember there was a married couple, friend of mine yung married couple, kasi sam na pagalilang pa lang siningabana ko sa ako sa ulang, mau ka gentleman. Abri ang puerta, tuyan ako. Sang nakasal na kami, wala ko na, wala ito pa mag-puerta. So nagdugay-dugay na gen, so ginasubuin ako karon mag-abri sang gate. Ang ko na sa nadula na pagka-gentleman. So ulihin na niya ako pa subuon na niya kay may ito. Ako ang ipatubag na sa ito. So enjoy it while you can. Because later on, you might not have it. But now, you can expect it. You follow? And then when you reach the place, sa inyong ako, where would that be? El Fisher. Okay, you have to pick the best place in town. Diinta mo sa La Proa. Okay? So La Proa has newly renovated. It's a beautiful place. And you're paying a lot for it, right? Okay. So, pakonsueluhan nyo ang inyong parents, yung dindastuhan ang inyong gown, dindastuhan ang inyong ball, stay in La Proa. You follow? Until the time mo sila nga, ang inyong occupancy is maybe until 1 o'clock in the morning, then stay until 1 o'clock. You can. But not leave before that and go somewhere else. You follow? You follow? Nakawag ko lang ako, nagkayang ako na ng plano. So, when you go to your, okay, and then since this is a formal occasion, then you will be seated, hindi na kay girls in one place and boys in one place. So you will be seated, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, the table. Okay? And so you have to keep conversation flowing. And at this time, kaya, ang ito sa behavior will be, of course, have to be impeccable. Hindi ka mukha slouch, pabungko, ladylike na mo, kinagagawin na ka mo. And I don't know whether you're going to, you might be offered soft drinks. I doubt whether you will have wine. Will you have wine? No, I don't think so. Okay, so whatever it is, according to your idea, can you talk in subdued tones with your dates? Hindi na. Because a lot of people, kita ng Pinoy, we're very loud. No, as a culture, we're very loud. That's why I did not notice it here in the high school because I did not see you along the corridors. But when you are in the college, I spent 30 years, 25 years sa college. So, Maria, ang mga kabataan sa koridor do ara sa libertad sa mundo. Kasinigitanan. No? Kasingitanay. Katubangay, kasingitanay. At that's what I said at kasi di po tayo nahulat mga blur. Hindi hindi ang kasingitanay sa koridor. No? Kaya ako ng Pinoy. So, reserve your singitanay, mag-conversation. I don't know whether you are found also in corridors. Honest man, okay. That you realize that we as a people, as a culture, we are very loud. No? We are very loud. No? And then, kung na may data ka mo, please, kung may data ka mo, i-date ka mo sa lesang text. Magdala ka mo sa inyo sa cellphone, kung gusto mag-text, instead of conversation. You can do that. Okay? You can only open your cellphone kung napanawag na si mami kag si daddy kung diin ka na. You follow? At not niya sinave ka, mag-entertain ka mo sa mga texts. Better na lang hindi nyo galing pagdalo siguro. O kung dalo ninyo, put it in your bag. And do that, and refrain from reading your cell phone because it is very, very impolite. You follow? Yes. Now, if it's going to be very important, there is a call that you might want to answer. Then you say, excuse me. Then, if I may answer it. And then hindi naman din. You know, even answering sa cellphone, kita nga Pinoy, kasi hindi ka na everybody hears what you're talking about. No? Again, it is inappropriate. Kasi, tapos bilanong ka, ang imo tinong, kaya patingol sa tanan, hindi na sila makaintindihan na ikaw kasinggitan kesa sa phone. And if you have to talk louder, get out of range para hindi mo ka-disturb. A cell phone is very, very helpful, but it can be very distracting. Alright. And then, we go down to sa inyong sa dancing video. So I'm sure is there a cotillion? Yes. Okay. So you know, you have practiced that. So that's now you're going to demonstrate how ladylike you are. Okay. So you do your dance. And then after each dance, na magbalik na kung nag-dancing ka mo, ganay, every time tapos mo dancing, no, you allow also your escort to escort you back to the chair. Let us say thank you. No? Hindi na, after you dance, say thank you, and then you sit. Then allow your escort to be the one to help you sit. Because it's a big function, the waiters cannot do that anymore. It's going to be your escort. Alright. So again, conversation should be light. Do not go into discussions of things that's going to make a heated argument. So what are the safe topics for conversation? Ano ang safe topic for conversation? Na hindi ka mo mag-elicit something strong. Okay? You know there is an art to conversation. You find out by just asking questions, what are the interests of your friend? And then if you hit the mark, then if you know that, then talk about it. So that, you know, the interesting thing is, when you are in conversation, the secret is not to talk about yourself. Because you're going to bore whoever it is you're talking with to death. But find out what is interesting and then talk about it. You follow? And once it is the person's interest in ginagawa niyo, then that person will become interested with you. And you will go to hold sa ulihina, hindi na ka bumaka, kanya you will be interacting with one another and learning from one another. You follow? Okay. So conversation should be light, do not go into arguments or discussions that does inaway na kamo. Diba? Kasi may mahibig na. Kami may mapikor na. follow? All right. Now, after the ceremonies, there are mga passing of candles, I think, there. The passing of, man kabulang, wala siyang seniors. Wala ka rin. Sa una, kami sa una, junior seniors. So the seniors will be praised, may mga big-tipping ceremony. Kabulang. So after that, then you're free to be dancing the night away. Okay? So stay inside La Proa and do not go out. We had a very bad experience before among the girls. Na pagkatapos nila sa limonya, magkinuha sila ng tirang istorya sa dalan. Ang insura nila ay karoon niya, daroon na pag-make-up sa dalan. Ang punta rin, hindi siya magtitira sa sulod. You have rented a beautiful place and you will only have it once in your life. So enjoy it. Have fun. Now, after you're going to have the meal. No? Ang inyong part is plated. Is the food plated? Okay. So it will come in as served na. I don't know what you have ordered. But again, the order of things is that you know how to handle sa inyong utensils. Okay, the first thing is, put your napkin sa inyong lap, and then you sit it with your utensils. I suppose all of you know how to manage it, right? All right. So if there is anything, one of the things that I noticed also is that there are some people who may not want some of the food nga ara. Hindi nyo pag-ibutang sa bandero. Ako yung inuan ibutang sa bandero. Kaya horror. But it happens. Follow, that's why I'm telling this. It just might happen. I know you know how. Okay. Just in case, malapalipan. Okay? And do not fit your mouth open with it. If you have to sneeze into your napkin. And by the way, after you have used your napkin, hindi nila usahan nyo ang napkin ninyo. Okay? Now it's put across sa inyong sanglap. Then you use it every now and then. Nagkakaon ka mo, you use it to wipe your mga excess na, no? Para hindi ka suling may-ari, hindi ka nagkasunod. So when you do that, okay, hindi nyo pag-amusilingan ang inyong lipstick, puruto nyo to over. Just that. And then put it back. Sabi mo na. Okay? And then when you are done, do not fold your napkin. Just hold it and then drop it there sa table. Okay? Hindi ko sila. Ako yan eh. You follow? So that is eating. But the one thing I would like to emphasize to you is this. I was talking with my daughter. She's living in the States. And she was telling me, she was sharing with me a friend of hers, ours, a family friend, who went to Los Angeles, who drove from San Francisco to Los Angeles and to the event. And then they were sharing and they were talking. And then the girl, the friend says that, you know, she said, I am talking to my daughter now, you know, about the real facts of life. Because when I was young, my parents never spoke of it because it is taboo. She never spoke of it. But if my parents had given me the information, I would not have gotten pregnant. She got pregnant at 18. She was a student here in the Salle. She came from a Catholic school. She had a boyfriend. They were very much in love. the hormones were raging. And they responded. And the next thing was, she got pregnant. Today, it is now a very real cause for concern. You follow? Because there are even girls who get pregnant at grade 6. Yes. Yes. So, I think I will do you a disservice if I don't give you the information necessary for you. Because even in the States, the girls lose their virginity on prom night. Yes. Especially since they go out with their boyfriends. And then they leave the place ng Ila San Juan and go somewhere else. And before long, ara na sila. They may not have planned it, but the occasion proved to be too much for them, and so they went into sexual intercourse. I am not saying that you are, but I feel that it is going to be a big mistake on our part as the adults not to inform you of what you might get into because of your ignorance. The problem in the Philippines is that sex is never spoken. Even your mothers or your grandmothers married without knowing what they were getting into. Okay? But today, young people are so informed because of media. And yet, ang information is not even healthy information. And so now, even our value system has been warped because of that influx of media. There are many now who think that premarital sex is okay. They think that premarital sex is okay. There is no such thing anymore as conscience. They're not thinking about it as wrong. Because media has told them it is something that is enjoyable and it is something that makes them feel good. Okay? So, in order for you to be enlightened, let me show you some facts about the Filipino adolescents. Okay? I was asked to give this talk a year or so ago to St. Scholastica's, and I gave the talk from grade 5. Grade 5, grade 6, first year, second year, and fourth year. Because, I mean, if your parents are not able to talk to you and inform you, then it is our role in education to inform you so that you will be informed and you're not going to make some mistakes. Follow? All right. I have brought here a presentation talking about the Filipino adolescent. This was made by a doctor from Bacolod, based also on some information that he gathered. Okay? Filipino adolescents constitute about 20% of the total population of Philippines. And the Filipino youth in ages 15 to 24 has ballooned from 12.4 million to 15.1 million in a decade. So this is up to 2003. A relatively growing increased share of Filipino teenagers to total fertility over time. So even Filipinos now become fertile or sexually mature at an earlier age. Sa kuna yung mag-12, pero may mga 10 na, may 9 na. Okay? So that there is a high population of unwanted fertility among adolescent women. Okay? What does it mean? That there are some girls who don't even know that they are already sexually fertile. And they will not understand that. Okay? Filipino women 15 to 24, 2 out of 5 births were reported unwanted at the time of conception. Meaning, they were children of accidents. They were not really planned. So that is a joke. The first child of a married couple is the blood child, the next are accidents. I mean, blood lang ko ng firstborn. Okay? Because that proved whether they were compatible. Alright? Listen to this. Premarital sex among Filipino adolescents have increased over the past decade from about 18% in 94 to 33% in 2002. And I wonder how it is now in 2010, with only a quarter of such activities protected with some type of contraception. I have heard of so many young girls who have had abortions here in Bacoor. Abortions. Why? Because they have sex and they did number one class. If you have sex, you're likely going to get pregnant. Remember that. If you have sex, you're likely going to be pregnant. Hindi ka oy, once long if there is one thing you have to be very aware of, girls, will be STD. What is STD? Sexually transmitted disease. And this is a wake-up call. So, this was done by Dr. Philip Castaño for the warning. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. So be ready for the pictures. It will tell you a lot. Kung hindi ka mo makadlog sa words, look at the pictures. You don't want it to happen to you. Warning. Some words are disturbing. Okay? Okay. There is a healthy guy. There is a healthy woman. Okay? For as long as they're separate, it's okay. But if they engage in sex, what can happen to the one to the left is a penis. Okay? That's the male genital organ. Take a look. And to the right is the vagina. With sexually transmitted disease. Take a look. Infection. STD na yan. Okay. What is STD? It's a sexually transmitted disease. It is a communicable disease transmitted through sexual or genital contact. It's venereal disease, sometimes known as the venous disease, the venous curse, and it is a social disease. And it is getting to be so prevalent now. Why? Because a lot of people are getting to be very promiscuous. What do you mean by promiscuous? Very sexually active, sometimes with multiple partners. Okay. What are these diseases? Okay. What is an STD? An STD is a social hygiene problem. It is now here present in our society. Again, why is there is a proliferation of STD? Because of a lack of awareness, the ignorance of people. Another is the problem with culture. We don't want to talk about it. So because we don't want to talk about it, it becomes wala ka sa information, you are ignorant. And here, it is again a problem because the Filipino male wants to have a macho image. So they want to show they're very real. So sometimes STD is underestimated. Karon makibot ka mo nga kadamog galing ka STD. No? And then, STD has been taken for granted. That is why, nagdevelop ang virus. Karon, we have the worst. HIV. Incurable. You follow? Okay. Sex in our country is something that we do not discuss. Parents don't even talk about it. It's taboo, meaning to say you don't talk about it. So when you talk about, again, sex-related things, still is a taboo. So what happens? When you talk about taboo, then it means restriction. Okay? Meaning, you don't talk about it, then you remain ignorant. So you are not allowed to talk about it. But now, in school, right, like here, in this forum, you are allowed to So what is restriction? It is a self-imposed ignorance. And if you're ignorant, you get into trouble. Okay? So, STD. The problem of STD is no one wants to take responsibility for the spread of it. And again, you're afraid even to go to your doctor because of the fear of associated stigma. No? Ang iba nila mahadlok, they can see the manifestation of STD, but they're afraid to go to their doctor. The doctors have seen a lot of this. So don't be ashamed to go to your doctor. What are the usual causes of STD? So number one is gonorrhea. It is the most common. Okay? Gonorrhea. A lot of boys have this. Why? Because of experimentation, especially kung ang ilang in-experiment are prostitutes. Okay? Tax. It is dysentery, gonorrhea. Most commonly reported STD. Ang iya sa concept is very rapid. It has 1 to 10 days of incubation period. 90% of males would acquire it in 5 days. Kung ma-expose sila, si ara na lang. Ang incubation niya is 1 to 10 days, and then it will manifest itself. Okay, how will you know you have gonorrhea? So what are the risks? Who are the risk groups? Any person who is sexually active can be infected with gonorrhea. Common among younger people, ages 15 to 30, who have multiple sex partners. Increases in gonorrhea have been found among men who have sex with men. So, again, and occurs more frequently in urban areas rather than in rural areas. In other words, in cities. Okay? Some women go into intimate relationship without finding out. And before they know it, they'll have sex, and they will have this will transfer to you. And that will lead to your downfall. Transmission. Okay, listen. How do you transmit it? Through sexual contact, including penis to vagina, so it is sexual intercourse. Penis to mouth, meaning oral sex. Penis to rectum, anal sex. And mouth to vagina, oral sex. You know, there are a lot of girls who think that oral sex is not sex. And so they engage in oral sex. mouth. Okay? Transmission. If a mother has gonorrhea, then the mother will give it to the child. Kaya maagi sa iyang vagina. So the chances are that the child will have eye infection. In children with sexual abuse, the history of sexual abuse, then you will have the genital tract, the mouth, and the rectum. Okay? Okay, fun fact. Yeah. What is that? An infected person can spread the infection to another area of their body by touching the infected area and transferring the excretions. Okay. Like, mga lalaki na pang-ihi, kulatan nila. Nasuway sila na pang-ina. So that even if you lose ang tuwalya nila, you lose ang nila sa mga sibin, you can get infected. That is why even hotels, mga hotels, kung di ako na pinakasal sa mga malaking na kinakubra, that's why they have sex, and walang patrapo nila, and you stay in a hotel. If you have to stay in a hotel, bring your own towels. In men, it is symptoms, creamy or green pus-like discharge from the penis, which causes painful urination and testicular pain. Ako kasi nagputi-puti ka ba? Ako na siya. It's pus, yung naknak. Women, no? Women. Bleeding between periods. Creamy or green pus-like or bloody vaginal discharge, excessive bleeding during menstrual period, the irritation of the vulva. The vulva is the vagina, the mouth, no? Lower abdominal veins, painful intercourse, painful urination, rectal infection, and throat infection. What if you have rectal infection? You can have constipation. Freezing muscle discharge, itching, painful bowel movement with blood in the feces, and rectal bleeding. Okay, fun fact. There are no, oftentimes there are no symptoms at all to 10 to 15% of men and 80% of women. Kasi hindi ka mo gawain natin. Kung ara na siya. Can sometimes take up to 30 days for symptoms to appear. So you are not even going to be aware sino nag-infect sa imo. Kaya hindi ka na kapin pa kung multiple partner ka. Hindi ka na kabalo ko sino tumipakan mo. Hindi ka mo barrier, it will be 10 to 30 days. Complication. In men, epididimitis, makabok ang ila. In women, it can cause abscesses. It can abscess, nakahubang-hubang. Ectopic pregnancy, meaning ang imo sa fertilized ovum will develop in the fallopian tube. And then if it stays there, there is a danger of death. And kung magpupok na siya, kapag bleed ka, kung hindi ka mahingagaw, pelvic inflammatory disease, sa pelvic pneumonia, pelvic inflammation, and pericarditis, and sterility. You cannot have children anymore. Especially kung may kamong kabalo, dugay na kamo, na may aras sa gonorrhea. That's why birds. Women have natural smells. Anything that's not natural anymore, you have to worry about. You follow? It has a natural smell. That's part of God's gift to women. And that is part of what attracts men. You follow? That's men of women is what attracts men. But if it is something is wrong, the in and amount, then you will have to go to your doctor. You follow? Complications. Brain can have brain complication, but sometimes it's rare. Hit heart valves, and joints. It will attack your heart valve and your joints. May iba niya nagasalalakit na ang mga joints. Okay. Prevention. Avoid any sexual contact. Do not, if you've been sexually active, do not wait for symptoms to appear. Be careful that you always wash your hands and you have regular checkups for STD and limiting the number of partners and using condoms. Okay? I'm not saying that you go have sex and use condoms to be safe. No. I'm saying that if you cannot control yourself and you have to, then use condoms. Anyway. Chlamydial infection. Again, this is very common with women. It is very common STD. In the U.S., most commonly reported infectious disease. Teenage girls, highest rate of chlamydial infection, regardless of location. Okay, you have 15 to 19-year-old, 46%. 20 to 24, 33% of infections. Sa ilang research. So, you can see that. Transmission. Oral, vaginal, or anal sex to the infected partner. Again, you get infected through sexual contact. So it is in the blood, it is in the semen, it is touching eyes when infected, and it is in the vaginal fluid. So that's how you transmit. Okay? Alright. Again, from mother to have newborn baby during delivery, so you will have neonatal conjunctivitis, again, eyes, and pneumonia. So that's, some mothers are infected with this, and then when they give birth, then they have difficulties of being enough, either develop these eye infections or pneumonia. Symptoms. 50% of men, 75% of women. And they are mostly asymptomatic. They don't show any symptoms. Disease comes and goes. You think na wala na, pinagkukulang siya, mawalik ka naman siya. Okay, so how do you know? Constant lower abdominal pain, mild, again, milky or yellow mucus-like vaginal discharge and odor. Okay, and you call that vaginitis. Nausea, fever, pain during urination and sexual intercourse, and spotting between teeth. So, for men, burning sensation during urination, groin pain and swelling, irritation around opening of the penis, mild, sticky, milky, mucus-like discharge, swollen testes, okay? Ang ilang testes ang ilang scrotum, uba, padako, and it's not going to be treated, it will lead to infertility. And you have testicular pain. You see, active mo sa weekend. Prevention. Number 1 is abstinence. Okay? Do not abstain, meaning you do not indulge in sex. You follow? You do not go into premarital sex. Avoid drugs. Okay? The use of condoms and diaphragms. Okay? Diaphragm birth control. Form a monogamous relationship, meaning kung isa lang, ako lang na. But then again, kung kamunag na sila ng boyfriend nyo, siya lang isa, pero boyfriend nyo kasi hindi lang ikaw. You know? might also have a role to play. Persons who have more than one sex partner, especially women under 25, should be tested regularly. Lymph granuloma. Now, Greek granuloma is caused by that produce topical crimes, okay? It's a 6th venereal disease and what you call tropical bubo. In other words, kubang. No? Ano gani para magsalita? Yung nagkakabilog to na. Okay? There. Tapos kita niya. Okay? May nakakasagilo ko ba? Kasi ko makita nyo kasi nahibasan na. Nahibasan. A spontaneous sore similar to a pimple or blister or lesion, a soft bump occurring at the point where the bacterium enters the body, usually in the penis or vagina, that often goes unnoticed. So magsigit na pimple lang na siya ng kamay. Kali may ara na nagdahon. So what are these? Inflammation and swelling of the lymph nodes surrounding the tissue. In other words, salita ko, you have a lot of lymph nodes, makubang na siya. Kasi tipo. Sa atos ka na mga lymph nodes na pangadlay ang panawang nila. Okay? Sa atos panawang nila pangadlay. That's your lymph nodes. Lymph nodes causes to infection continues to swell until a pus-filled bulge is created called a bubo. Meaning, boil. No? Amo na siya kanagawang tulong na sa sumiwan, nasubuin mo galing na siya. Gusto ko mabuhat-buhat ang pus. And it's very painful, throbs. Okay? And you can even have fever. You can even have fever. And how do you transmit that? An individual is infectious for as long as the lesions remain active. For as long as it is there, wala siya, makalalason. Ejaculation is not necessary. The germ is passed from partner to partner as long as there are sores. So magpalapit ka, naarang ka sa quality ng particles. Kung may sores, lagi makapos ng mga complications. Elephantiasis. You know what's elephantiasis? Nagtakok. Medyo masakit. Then you have bronchiolitis, recurring infection, rectal cancer, and the central nervous system can be attacked, rectal or intestinal blockages. So again, it can lead to rectal cancer. Syphilis. Correct? Leponema, very fragile. And you can know a syphilitic person because of the chancre or what we call ulcers. Okay? Ulcers. There. Ini siya, sa iya totonan. The one on top is a throat. Okay? Kaya mo lang may chancre na mga pilas-pilas. Okay? That's syphilis. Kapot ini. This one is penis. The one to the long is the penis. That's a mouth is a mouth. It's a real. Take care of, remember, They disappear within a few weeks, whether treated or not. They go into dormancy, and then they will emerge. When they emerge again, they will be stronger. And then, bisan hindi mo magulungon, maangma naman na siya, ma-dormant naman na siya. Kaso, nabi mo, nag-ayo ka na, ma-emerge naman na siya. Pag-emerge yan, mas strong na siya. Pero atake mo niya na, ang bilog mo na ganaw. So that what happens? A rash of the symptoms. Secondary symptoms, you have a rash of flat red lesions over the whole body, including the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Pwede mo pa, no? Ang imo sa lesions. Then, you have fever, you have swollen glands, swollen glands, ang imo sa groin, broad-based papillus, tapos more warts, and more moist sites, sa hita, ng wall, may magwak, mucus patches or name tract ulcers in the mouth appearing for 3 to 6 weeks after shock development. Okay? Symptoms sa ulihin na, saka sa brain, it will cause mental illness. It will cause eye blindness. Okay? And so it will attack the nervous system, result in neurological problems. Ang iba, it will attack the joints, hindi ka nakabangon. Spinal cord, hindi ka nakawindow. The heart and blood vessels. And ang katapusan, death. Follow? There was a young man. There was a young man who was the son of one of the most famous mayors of Manila. But, kung may nani, kung may pa kami ng tao, sa tatay. He was such a promiscuous bata. He married a socialite. A socialite, hindi ang bata sa parte ka-social kamay. They had a grand wedding. Only to find out na may syphilis na siya. Nalagta niya iya asawa. When they gave birth, she gave birth to a syphilitic child. Ang bata nila, ikunin may mga panayang, i-block na. It's form ang bata kasi. Ang asawa na lang ng syphilis, she didn't know she had it. Okay? Sa ulihin na, nagbulagay sila. The guy, away man niya yung patrika yung syphilis, nagsaka sa brain. Subsequently, he became crazy and committed suicide. That was at the end of it. Pero ang asawa niya had been treated. And I think, I don't know whether she remarried, but I don't think she ever had to try again. So complications in pregnancy for syphilis, 25% without stillbirth, or may alasang infected babies of umiyak. So what are the complications? You suffer from anemia, fever, rashes, skin sores, swollen liver and spleen, various deformities, weak or spraying sounds, and yellowy skin, jaundice. Ang kuha sa babies na na-infect. Prevention. Any contact with infected sores, infected tissues, and body fluids must be avoided to prevent. Methods of prevention. Screening and treatment of infected individuals. And the last is, if you have to have sex, so I'm not saying have sex. No. But if you want to have sex, use condoms. Before, until after. You follow? Bacterial vaginosis. This is for women. So you call it the Myoplasma cubinis. Okay? Lactobacillus. Okay. This is the vagina. This is also called the labia majora, and that is the labia minora. See? And look what happens when it is infected. Again, transmission. Again, having sexual partners. Douching. You know what is douching? May ara na sa kuwan niya na lang ang nilagdas ang kuwan. sunod, so inabutangan sa kung ano na using intrauterine devices sometimes can cause this. Okay? The infection cannot be spread from person to person like contact. Okay? So this one cannot be contact by touch or by doorknob or utensils or toilet seats or swimming pools. No, it cannot be. Okay? Symptoms. More than 50% of women have those symptoms. Excessive thin gray or white vaginal discharge that sticks to the vaginal walls. Fishy or mushy, unpleasant vaginal odor. Most noticeable after sex. Vaginal itching and irritation. Okay? It's a white thing that will fill me, that will sebo, that will attach into the vagina. That will cause itchiness. Okay? Complications. It can lead to ectopic pregnancy, infertility, low birth weight in infants, pelvic infections, premature birth, and it increases the risk of acquiring gonorrhea, HIV, and other STDs. Kung yan kasi so, ito ang mga uncertain if the infection is sexually transmitted. Sexually active women appear to suffer from the infection more than other women. So you see, all of these are, many of them are sexually transmitted. Avoid prevention. Drinking alcohol, drinking coffee, fast food, processed food, refined flour products, saturated, talaga lang avoid, prevent. Aral na. Leishmaniasis. Aral na. It's a, sa inyo, sa magkakuha ka mo siguro sila sa inyo mga biology. It's a single-cell parasitic protozoan, often diagnosed in patients who are already infected with other STDs. Between 4 to 20 days, unlike most STDs, can survive for some hours outside the body on affected objects. Trichomonas. These again are other infections. Sa penis and what? It's always in the penis and the vagina. Listen, how do you transmit that? Anal sex, mutual masturbation, oral sex, and vaginal sex. Can be transmitted by sharing body fluids, contaminated bedding, damp towels, sheets, and toilet seats. So, ako na sa mga public places. Women. All of this, you will notice we are some spotting. Again, this we have spotting, heavy yellowish green or gray, infection in the urethra, itching and burning in the vagina, lower burning. Nang daw mainit pala. Magkakatul na daw kainit. Lower abdominal pain, musty, vaginal odor. Basta may kainang odor, something is wrong. Pain or burning when urinating, pain or discomfort during sexual intercourse, swelling in the groin, swollen and irritated vagina and cervix, urinating more than usual, vaginal or vulval, breathless, worsening symptoms when menstruating. Kung amunan ng mga symptoms pagkataon ng pagkadaan, if you are sexually active. But sometimes, hindi ba lang, you're not having sex, but you can get infected. Follow? Infection of the urethra or prostate gland, which is involved in semen production, so many people, difficult urination, thin whitish discharge, and tingling inside the penis. That's for men. Prevention, again, abstinence, no sex, consistent and correct male gases condom use, spermicides and diaphragms, treatment of the male partner. Genital herpes is very Kapatid na kamu si potentially fatal in babies, no treatment that can cure herpes, antiviral medicine can shorten and prevent outbreaks during those ages. Ano na? Herpes. Ang mataya. This is the vagina, herpes. That is the vagina. That is the anus. Okay? Itutuan ka mo na kung mahuli ka mo, it should always be from the sa likod. Okay? Never make huli kahit yung susunod na pasok. Because masunod. Yeah. And you're likely going to infect the vagina. So it is from the back, from the back. Follow? Otherwise, you're likely to infect So in many instances, people don't know they have it, and so they can likely infect others. Okay. There are blisters on the genitals, blisters break, so there are sores, if they heal. Prevention again is abstinence. Or, that's why, even married couples have to be faithful to one another. Kaya kung makasawa, kaso ng bana na tinuto, ma-infect niya yung asawa. O kung ang asawa ka tinuto, ma-infect niya pa niya bana. Kaya goes both ways. Men will always practice do anything for as long as they can get sex. And then
In coordination with Guidance Services Center, a certificate of appreciation is given to Catalina Yolo for in recognition of her valuable service as resource speaker during the AIDS-Fund Guidance Services Center sponsored lecture program for the grade 10 girls on the topic appropriateness in dating. Given this 28th of January in the year of our Lord 20.
Address the specific issues and concern of your gender. This activity is a tandem effort of the collaboration between INSPA, the Integrated Parents Association, which is headed by our president, Mr. Joyce of Rebecca, and of course, Mrs. Cristina Corrado as Parenting Enrichment Program Committee Chairman. At the Guidance Service Center, headed by Mrs. Delta Radios as Guidance Director. We would also like to acknowledge the enthusiastic support of the level of the Vice Principal, Ms. Doris Dumaran, Discipline Information Officer, Mr. Christian Fernandez, Ms. John Monserrate, our high school librarian, and her staff for preparing the venue, and the MULTER production staff, headed by Mr. Arnel Whitehall. Our speaker for today is an AB Psychology major in Guidance of Psychology graduate, a Doctor of Education who majored in Educational Management, also a Guidance Counselor and a Job Placement Officer of the University of St. Salle from 1990 to 2008. And a faculty of the College Department since 1988. At present, she is the chairperson of the Psychology Department of this university. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lisa D.
Good afternoon.
This afternoon, I'd like to thank the initiatives of INSPA and together with the administration of USLS-IS, the hospitality of the library personnel, and of course you for being here. Are you excited?
Yes!
What are you excited about? The talk. What is the talk about?
Posture.
Why are you so excited about dating?
Participate
The kids, you are so excited about the kids. What else?
After the kiss. Boys.
Date na all boys. Alright, so at least if some of you have actual experience, or when I say vicarious, you know what vicarious means? Vicarious means learning from the experiences of other people. So do you have friends who have dated some people, some girls? Yes. So even if you don't have actual experiences, but you've learned about it from the others, that's what you call vicarious. So for those who did not raise their hands, did you vicariously learn about dating from your friends? So that means that you really do not have any concepts about dating at the moment. But please bear with me, because the first thing I would like to share with you is dining. I'll go with dining first because I'm anticipating a lot of questions in the dating portion. Correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so bear with me. But do you see this on the table?
Yes.
Are you hungry?
Yes.
So let's start on this first. As they say, the adolescent's mind is like a treasure, like an egg. And wonderful ideas outside of the egg. Alright. So when we talk about etiquette, this is the etiquette came from two words, ticket. You know what a ticket is?
No. Yes.
Where do we see etiquette? Entrance of what?
Parties. Parties.
One at a time, please raise your hand. I'm sure you raise your hand in the classroom.
Parties.
You have a ticket to
Yeah.
enter the party?
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Did you raise your hand in the back?
Carnivals.
Carnival! The word etiquette comes from that precise ticket word. Okay? Before, you cannot be invited to a party if you do not have that ticket. How do you get that ticket? You earn. You earn, not buy. You earn the ticket if people see you behaving properly during parties. So that's why it's called etiquette. Once they know, you're such a gentleman in your actions. Or for the ladies, she's such a lady, like in her actions, then you're given a social ticket. Okay, so it's very, very important when you are going outside of your home to recognize that there are certain behavioral patterns that you need to conform with in the social environment. Okay, sometimes you say, because it's so tiring to constantly be on the alert, but that is necessary in the social dynamics. social and dining behavior in a group, later on when you're going to work, or in any place in society. Table manners, therefore, are visible signs that you are a polished and knowledgeable individual. So, like what you're doing now, please notice the way you sit. Okay? Some people are not seated properly. So when you talk about non-verbal languages or communication, much of the communication comes from non-verbal. Do you know that? So for 100%, I'll let you guess. How many percent do you think is non-verbal?
80. 1, 7, 80.
65.
65?
80.
Yes.
90.
90?
95.
95?
89.
89?
69.
99? What else? 0.5 ang non-verbal. Okay, to set the record straight, okay? When we communicate on 100%, 93% is non-verbal.
I'm the closest.
Your closest, who said 95?
Leandro.
Closest. 93%.
I like it.
What I say now is only 7% of what will be retained by you.
Verbal.
Very good, huh? But all my actions, everything else that I'm doing now at present that you observe are my non-verbals, and that will be retained more. Okay? So when you're sitting like that, slouching, shaking of your legs, that's your non-verbal. And it relays a message which is far stronger than words. Okay? So that is manners or behavioral manifestation. Very good.
Oh my God.
Now you understand that sentence. Okay, sometimes you actually speak louder than words though. Now you say with a number. It is
97%.
How many percent again? 93.
Sorry, kasi ito.
Alright.
90.
Visitor.
I brought with me just a simple table setting. Okay, so if you cannot see, I'll just raise it up a little bit. Alright? So we have utensils. Around it, like this, is what?
So.
What? What is not so? Okay, so we need utensils. And fork. So there is always a spoon. Okay. And the knives for the others. Now, a smaller knife on the left side, which will be your salad.
Dessert.
Appetizer.
Appetizer.
Salad, pork, and your dinner. There are a set in front of the plate. So these are basta-basta in front and on top of the plate will be your desserts. Dessert pork and dessert spoon. Depending on what dessert is offered to you. Correct? So sometimes we don't know what they will offer.
Anong dessert ako?
Alright. Now, when usually in a social gathering, you use fork and knife. So when you use your fork and knife, it says do not make a fist around, don't hold it like this. As if your upbringing might go away on its own. Okay? Because madala. So a lot of times we hold it not really at the tip, near the tip lang siya. Yes? We do not allow any finger to touch this part. Okay? Clear? Okay. Now, there are two styles. So sometimes you notice that other adults who are meeting may be doing. Okay, so the continental style is the time. So if you're eating steak, do not cut everything. Okay, no. Cut how many pieces at a time. And then, hindi pwede yung pinupus-upus. Sa isa tamaran, ang talay. Mano na kapiparan na tanan. So in social gathering, that's the no. Okay, now what does it say? Put, so cut it, get the meat or the steak, and then put it in the mouth. This is what we call the continental style. Okay? Now, what is another style? Another style is the American standard style. You cut, as again, only very few pieces at a time. Okay? When you cut this, sorry. So this is actually, of course, the dinner plate. When you cut, maybe like 3 pieces, you put the knife down. When you put the knife down, you don't let it rest on the table and the plate. Like what we do at home. Correct? That's a no-no in social gathering. You rest it here. Yes? So, in the American standard style, remember, this is the fork where we hold the meat or the steak. And in the American, you transfer the fork to the right side. Get? And times up. Eat. So actually, you've seen adults doing that in the side of an American style. So depende sa inyo kung ano ang comfortable ka mo doing. But when you take a bite, your mouth should not cover the entire fork. Okay. Yes.
Yes, what if you slice it? What style is it?
Slice? What do you mean? But slice mo ka. Without transferring? No, it's okay. Slice it. One slice at a time is okay. The most, as I'm saying, is mga 3. Hindi ka lang ang dami. So if you slice a little, hindi ka nag-delay kaya sa gratification. Kaon ka lang yan dahil okay lang. Yes? So again, when you're, for example, you need to drink or something, of course you need to put this down. So when you put this down, ang lang siya sa tubig. Okay? So you know now, continental and American. Of course, it's a different thing when you want to go eat to Manokan, you know, pala-pala, sila ikan siya. Hindi na siya yung fine dining.
Pinoy style.
So when you're invited to a party and you have a host or hostess, those are the people who invite you to the party or to their home. So pinaka-importante, you have to get the cue from them. Even if the food is ready and you're just preparing, you have to just sit a while and then wait for them. And when they start, that's when you start already. Hindi pwede nga, tone na ko yung bata. No pointing of the finger, because in psychology, we have what we call projection. The first person who starts pointing on another person actually has that particular behavioral pattern. So, so wait until everyone at the table, if it's a round table, etc. So never reach across the table because always remember, this is not your home. Okay? So in any social gathering, there are social rules. So never reach across for something, instead ask someone. Now, ang typical of the Filipinos, we point with our lips. So hindi na siya pwede. So you say, I think he's pass the So ginagawa somebody else to do it. The one is para kung message rin ba yun? Alright? So kaya na. Sometimes, some of the restaurants in Bacolod are not really very concerned about training their waiters. So some of the waiters serve food on the right, that's wrong. So food should be served on the left of the guest, and dishes are cleared on the right. but you cannot reach. So what you do is, if you're the person who was requested to reach over to take the food, pass it to the right. Right. The first papers to you. That is what you do in the classroom.
Forward.
Pass papers. So to the right ng siya yung rally. Hindi pwede sa'yo. Of course, this is very kindergarten or pre-kindergarten rule. Never talk with your mom when your mouth is. So, chew always your food, chew it with your mouth closed. Okay? So do not be chewing something and then nagagwak-wak kasi nagagwak. Now, soup. Of course, ang first niya i-serve, not really the main dish, but the soup. So this one, this pair, goes on top of your dinner plate. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I'll just push it. Okay na?
Yes.
So this becomes the first setting. So when soup is served, okay. Diba? Soup's good. Okay. So when you are going to take the soup, and it's really like there's smoke, do not blow. Okay, never blow. So take a little while. So what does it say? Spoon away. So if I'm like this so that you can see me, so if I'm going to drink my soup, okay, spoon. Alright, when I'm going to drink my soup, it says away from you. So when you drink your soup, you can speak away and sip. Away and sip. Okay? So, ano lang na yan sa social? Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko alam. It's so delicious. You want to finish off until the last drop. Correct? So what do you do with it? So, di ba, kain-kain? Siyempre, may flat surface na siya. So what do? You tip, volunteer, here's you, tip it away.
Tingnan mo, ulang, mes? Ulang lang isa.
Now, tip it na away, slowly. And then, siyempre, nag-gather na natin ang soup time. So, diyan ka muna. Again, away from you, and sip. Away from you. Sip. Now, when you're done, never put your spoon on the bowl. Okay? Sa balay lang na. Okay? So when the waiter is aware of this, he will take this one. Okay? So away with this one. So what is remaining kay Filipino, may ma-remain na sa ibang restaurants. No? Sa mga fine dining na dito, wala na rin siya gano'n kapamilya. So it's always the pork and the knife. So kaya nyo na?
Yes.
When you sip your spoon, your spoon, so what direction will it go? Away in a manger. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. When there are so many utensils on the table, ang rule din na yan is from the farthest inward. Okay, dito na po, farthest in siya.
Una, may sabi lang po.
Oo, farthest.
Farthest. Farthest kitchen, hindi.
Okay, very good. So do not leave the spoon. Okay, moving on. Rolls. Bread. In some hotels, they really have rolls. Okay, so what happens? Balik na siya. Okay, wala pa nag-isas soup. So may arm na siya. Sorry, they did not provide you with a bread saucer. So may kamay na siya ng platito. May bread knife na siya. May amok hindi siya na tinambay. Okay? So what you do, never, cut the bread. Ang social effect na i-cut na siya, hindi na pwede. Okay? Kasi ilan pa mortal sin na. So what do you do? You cut it with your bare hand. Cut it. Hindi pwede na ang tinapay, hindi mo ako sandwich. Ito nga, gusto lang, palitan mo daw sa kanan tinapay. It's one tiny piece at a time. So no matter if you're hungry, okay, if you're hungry, buminak siya yung food. So sometimes if you're already conscious that there's gonna be fine dining, the best suggestion would always be have something to eat prior para hindi ka tutulog na tutulog. Okay? Toss again. 93 is that's wrong. So, salads. So, there are some salads na itong mga kapamay na nililan. Who eats salads here? Hindi ka fruit salads. Macaroni. Garden salad. So some leaves are really very, very big. So you can just chop a little. Okay, so cut it and then put it in your mouth. Do not, if the leaves are very large, don't put it right in your mouth. Hindi na siya accommodate sa mouth. So again, non-verbals would not be good. Okay. So again, kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, never put your elbow on the table. For arms. Okay. So outside, coming in. So napkin. So when you sit down, etc. So you take the napkin, right? You put it on your lap, not here. Alright? Unless you go to a crab restaurant, that really is necessary for you to cover your clothes. Okay? Otherwise, you put it on your lap. Not here on your belt. No, may iba kinatopik na sa belt sila. Pwede sa lap lang yung belt. Okay? This is really the most formal. So, now they say the best rule of thumb, if you're not very comfortable and if you're not aware of this, is to observe what other people are doing. What if the person you're observing is also ignorant, okay, of this landing etiquette? So you are being given the opportunity by the principal and your Salle administrators to be aware of such etiquette in landing. Okay? So ako na siya So you will know a water glass because it's wider and fatter, okay, as compared to the wine glass. So slimmer. Okay, so kung hindi less formal, siya wala na yung wine glass. No, less formal, water lang siya. So when you hold the water, when you hold the glass, bigyan mo lang na siya. No? Hindi ka taman ka. Hindi ka pwede ka muna. Alright? So sa ladies, they can hold it like this. So another kind of setting, less complicated. So sila yan ang tawagin na sense because Amerikano siya, damo na sila yung mga wine, may sherry, sila white wine, red wine. But of course, you know, the red wine goes with red meat, right? The white wine, fish. So fish. If you're eating fish, we sometimes will ask you, would you take fish or meat or something? Then say, I'd like to take fish. If you're eating fish, or sometimes people also ask, what do you want for wine? So never say red wine. Then because if people see you eating fish and you're drinking red wine, they know something is wrong. Okay?
What's wrong with that?
Because it does not jive with the flavor. Flavoring.
No lasa, bread ako.
So, yung pinaka-simple sa mga hotel setting. So, they are a bread saucer that sa right, at the left side, hindi siya sa dito may assume this is a very small round table. Alright, more eating, yes. If you need to remove food from your mouth, what does it say? Remove it the same way it went in. So if you use a spoon, okay, to put it in your mouth, okay, this ang mga meat pala. Alright? Bubble gum. Right? So you need to spit it out. Do not use your napkin. Because why? When you spit the meat in your napkin, where do you put the napkin? So it stays there. Okay, so put it here now, and then put it down on the side. Yes? So hindi pwede, wala ba? Simple action. Smaller action. For our food items, of course, we have the knife. Kung kaya, wala ka lagas, wala mga pork, very wala ka lagas, then use your knife and then panghulik lang sa iyo, panghulik sa iyo knife. Ang lagas sa whatever. If you don't like something, then don't eat it, don't make too much big deal out of it. Okay, so again, when you're done, of course you will notice, right? When you're done eating, remember the knife rests on top. Correct, no? Habang you're eating. Correct? When everything is clean already and you're satisfied with what you're eating, what do? You rest yourself either 4 or 10 o'clock. This is 4 o'clock. Then get the, sorry. Then get the knife here and put it here. Ang ini should be inside. Facing you. Hindi pala yun. So that's 4. Now if your utensils are wide apart yet, then the waiter will not get their food because it means you're not done. Now, on the other hand, when you're not done yet, but you decided to do this, the waiter will get it. Do not fight. It's your okay? Ikaw ay kabalo. Kapag sila, wala na lang siya. Okay? So, hindi ko magawa. Yun naman yung kaong kong gani. So, when? Question? So, what did you do? Magbuha ka? Hindi mo may take. May harap mo lang the place on the...
Question.
Yeah, please.
Is it okay if we give tips to the waiter?
Is it okay? Yeah, to the waiter. That's a wonderful feedback for the waiters. And usually, if ikaw ang host, you are expected to give tips to the waiters.
Mga Jason na lang.
Okay. When you're done, okay? When you're done, so you just, well, when you're done, hindi man lang necessarily yung sundurugin mo kung paano, grab na, punta siya on the side. There are some people I really do not know why they love to put the napkin on the already soiled plate. Now there are some rules in etiquette that says, for example, in buffet style, when you need to take another trip to the table, may ibang sa etiquette book that says you can put your napkin on the chair to indicate you're really not done yet. But there are para safe lang, para hindi ka magkalat, just put it down on the table and get more food and then come back. Okay na? So when you're done, never just leave it. Okay? It should be gone. Yes? So when it's a formal party, never ask for a doggy bag. Even if you really love
Oh no!
okay?
Ano?
So kung party siya, those fine dining siya, hindi ito naman ito. Ready? pero lahi ng setting. Do you understand? It's a different setting than the usual restaurant. So of course, etiquette ni siya, which I know might be very difficult for you to turn off or put it in the silent mode when you are eating with somebody. Okay? Of course, when you seem to know that you're about to sneeze, then please do not sneeze on the table. Okay, you can shower on the plate of your seatmate, and they don't need additional ingredients. Okay, so just kung medyo alam na, just excuse me, dito ka lang katala. Kasi there are some people when they sneeze, all out sneezing, dito lang as in storm signal, things like that. So if you're someone like that, just leave the table, okay? Alright, sometimes we drop utensils, don't kick it, okay? Pick it up, and then just put it somewhere on the table. Para hindi ka makakonfuse, no? So, so malupit ka sa mga nagkakamit. Again, take small bite, never be like this person. You can do this when you're with your friends, just having a good time, you know, things like that. But when you're on a date, when you're with your parents and their friends, so any questions on dining? Are you ready? Last week I also talked to the first group, right? So when I was here, teacher always reminded you about it, and he's a guy, professor. So he was telling me sa muna ko nung in college, when they also go dates on dates without with some of his friends, or may mga party na sila. Ang ilagay ko na sa una ginopisyo, after they bring their dates home, after they bring their dates home, mapilit na nahin sila sa isang restaurant, and magbibilan sila ko ng kaon. Because at the time when they're having their dates, they could not really eat so much because again of the etiquette. Okay, so, una ba yan? So, una rin siya, makita na yung pagkita sa tanan na mga makita. Okay, so, they recognize that there are things that they cannot certain things. Alright, we go to dating etiquette. Is that prayer? In the college, when there's a history of love. Okay, so we're talking about this. How do you invite relatives? What is the norm nowadays of inviting a girl or a lady for a date? When you text, what do you write? Or what do you text?
Hello there.
Are you free tomorrow? Is that with somebody you already know? Are you free tomorrow? And then what else?
Are you available?
Because you're sa unanan niya, syempre personal. When you invite a lady for a date, it's personal. Not because of the technology and the accessibility of texting, you just text. But please be careful that your text note or text message is polite. Okay? Pag-text mo, hello, hello there. Pwede ba, boss? Pwede yan. No? So maybe, hi, I would like to invite you for go out or merienda. Will you be available tomorrow? Hindi pwede na hello there. Are you available? No. Okay. Say your intention. Say your intention. I would really like to. And then, okay. So be specific of your invitation. Thank God for your parents who care about you. So sometimes kita yun ang parents you like to be with your parents, especially in the mall. So you have to be thankful to your parents because they are very sensitive to your needs. Correct? So when you are going to have a date, get ready. Okay, how much can you afford? Where will you go? Okay, para hindi siya utang sa alam. Now, if you're constantly already dating, constantly going out together, then pwede, that's what we call KKB sa ano, or in English, we say, you go Dutch. Okay? You pay for your So, pero kung first time, lang, syempre, ang galing kinanglan, mapag-impress. Okay? Earn pogi points first. Hindi na yan pwede, na first pa lang, KKB na, hindi yan pwede. Turn off na siya. So, may take you out, and set that in yan, cover the body. So, plan where you want to go.
Favorite activities.
So, how do you plan where to go?
Research on favorite activities. Research.
Adios. Research on the favorite places of your day. Not yours, but your day. Where does she want to go? What are her
What's up to nakabit sa next question? What if she says to you, pag gusto, kailangan diin, pero kapag bawal ka naman sa ganyan.
Some girls are like that.
Yes, miss.
Pag gusto ka lang because
Ay, talaga?
Because some girls would want to be sensitive with regard to your financial capability. Correct? So, gusto ka lang. So, sige, can I make suggestions? This. Okay, you choose now which one. Yes? So, hindi pwede. Kaya yaman ng girl. Kapita na niya the ladies. Not to assert so much what they want. To find out kung kaya niyo siya or kaya niyo i-handle the situation. So, if you give suggestions, then you ask the lady, which would you prefer? Yes? So, kinalan niya. Because importantly, what is the reason for the date? The date is for you to get to know each other, correct? And of course, to leave behind an impression that will last for a very long time. And hopefully, it's a good impression. Yes, please?
What if nag-date mo sa school na nawala ko lang ako?
Straight or a regular?
Ito lang mag-out yung
Hindi mo na siya date kung nagagaw na. So, spending time lang na yan together.
Kung ginapadala ka ba,
Kung magdala ka sa bag,
si Rico,
magdala ka pa. Is there already a relationship?
what's siya? After na.
Or is just a way of pleasing the lady? Like kung nagdala ka ng isang bag niya and whatever, that perhaps means na may alam na kamuya, ano man?
mutual understanding.
Not really mutual understanding, just because you
Si Papa, mag-relate mo siya.
Kung hindi pa lang yan sa school, okay lang. This is the safest place to go. Okay? So, as I said, be ready with the expenses. So, when you are going to go on date, that's why it's nice to know ahead of time where you're going. No? Hindi pwede magpapabas the school lagi gusto niya nakachinelas pa lang. Hindi man na-appropriate.
Naka-dress eh.
Even if magkamayanas.
Where is shirt?
That's really not appropriate. Okay, for the place that she wants to go. Okay, this is my favorite. You know, when I conduct also talks like this to our graduating students, I always emphasize particularly to the guys about what colors of shirts. Color of shirts. So, ano po colors? Black. What do you like to wear? Why do you want to wear black?
Classic color. It's Sir Carl. Hi, sir. Sir.
Kung casual siya, okay lang ang black. Kung malagulak, okay man ang kumikita. Pero, kung if like you're going out to dine or to eat, then I would suggest you steer away from black. Okay, because black is gloomy.
Brown, blue.
Yellow, Miss Yellow,
If
Miss.
you look good in yellow,
Turquoise, Miss Turquoise.
if you look good in pink, what's that?
Blue na lang. Try.
Correct? Sa Subuya, wala na nag-iit. I've seen many boys and guys wearing pink shirts. And I love the way they look wearing pink shirts. So that means you do not have any qualms about or any uncertainties about your sexuality. Okay? Because sexuality is not limited to colors. Correct? So the more ka galing ka usar, pink, yellow, kung silingon, you're confident. Correct? Nobody can black. Pero, look ka, okay, something is not right. Yes?
You will concern bright color.
When you have a question, please raise your hand so I can address it. Alright, we're talking about picture. Where is your from?
Saturday.
Yes. Do you intend to give massage?
Yes. Make.
Is it the wrist massage? Very good. So massage,
Sa'yo sila.
the massage, guys, you need to know ahead of time the color of your lady's style. My gown. Because it's nice if your massage will match your gown. Okay? So you have to ask. Do not naman pester them all the time. No. That's lang. I'm sure by now they already have the dress. Or they know the color. So, massage. Ang wrist massage, okay? The wrist massage is usually worn on the right. The right hand. Kung sa front, wrist na lang.
Right.
Kaya you can watch the left. So we don't want that to interfere with the watch. Pero on other occasions, I'm just gonna teach you lang. Now on other occasions, it's based on promptation. Other occasions when there are massages, when it's, for example, based on your chest na yung ibutang sa shoulder, for the ladies, when you want for your moms, for example, when your mom needs to have massages, do not put the massage on the left. Okay, it's on the right. Right niya. So sa right side. Kasi nung boutonniere sa lalaki, wala kang flower, apartment, there is a choice left. Okay, now, why? For reason, for example, when there's a dance. Okay, so, may okay, so if he has a boutonniere here, nasa left siya yan, ang ako niya is sa right. Okay? So, let's dance. Not really dance. Now, the reason for the left and the right, so that our massage, that is boutonniere, will not be pinned down by anything, by the bottom. So, free siya. Yes? Fresh. When you want to pin the part here, the massage, pinanlan, ariya ang stem. May iba, I don't know why, see, the way you look, that's what I was talking about. Please be very careful of the color of your shirt. Because the way you look inside is also as important. The first thing that people see, of course, is outward appearance. And when they start getting to know you, then they'll begin to like you. Okay? So as we say, first impressions, last. So kinalan pa, pagkita yan sa imo, nag-invite ka date, make sure that the message is, I prepared for this, I'm planning for this, because this is important. Kasi kailangan, kurang nakakahusay, nakapaliguan, nakapaliguan. So before you go, before you go to a heart of gratitude, a servant's heart. Why? Because you need to be very sensitive to your needs. Okay? And you have to have a little of praise and patience. Put off your conceit. Nobody wants to listen to your stories unless they ask you to. Okay? So when you're dating, always ask her, ano mga paborito mo, anong idea mo sa pag-usin natin sa ila. Iyan niya, ay please ka eh. Okay? Expectation of perfection, don't bring that with you because nobody's perfect. You will only get disappointed. Okay? Instead, allow yourself to be surprised by what you discover every minute, every hour. And of course, anxiety. You are going to be very anxious. If this is exactly the girl you want, it is natural to be anxious. Okay? But give it to yourself. Okay? Do not hold your corner. Alright, now, when you sit down, you shake your legs, right? That's anxiety. So, step. Mannerisms. Ikaw pa, ba't ka lang ginalagos ka? Gusto ko namin lang. I hope you don't look like that. Okay, being on time is very, very important. Whether you go anywhere, it's a first date or a regular meeting. Okay, being on time shows that you respect.
Question is, Miss, what if the girl is like, if the girl says, dali lang kayo sa ilis ako, that would take like 30 minutes, masubra, or 1 hour. Or bakad ko, nakabis, pero dumag ko, pero sila bugtaw, piligo, pero sila gano'n na namin.
Yung buti ko
Ito sila, ginaantay.
Basta kayo sa tanong, hindi ka din.
Ang laki.
Pero tutuan mo ng babae, yung nakakabal dahil 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock na, hindi na before.
American time.
So, hindi mo ito kasi. Pero kamuya, I am concerned with you because you will be there before the arranged time. Alina, well, there are many parents who already told me about it when they knew that I was going to talk to the boys regarding dating. This is the most hated behavior of parents. When you pick up your date, do not just hold your gun. Even if kapilana ka muna mag-bag, never. That's bad. Bad manners, yun na yan. Kung saan yung pang ilong, bastos na yan. Napamatasan. So when you're there, the text ng balakang mo, right? So when I'm near your house na, already na siya. By the time you come in or you're there na outside, you have to ring the bell. Okay? Yan lang ang order na idyang masulot na idyang. Kami pa kung first time mo pa na, you have to go in. Kung sinong arada, you greet the people there. Secure man siya, helper man siya, you greet them. And then ask kung tingin na si Cinderella. Hi, good evening. I'm Armand. I'm here to pick up Cinderella. Masulot to ako. Wow, kung magaling to, no? Thank you. Kapal naman tayo, thank you. Kung ang parents arada, you say, good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Hindi pwede dito.
Okay? Kung ang natural, kaya ang informal na good evening tita, good evening tito. Correct? Pero ka namin, good evening tito. Until they get to know you. Alright? Until they get to know you. So you
Question.
You first.
What if you're already close with the parents?
Ano yung sige ka dito? Pero keep ka.
Langulango.
So it's either mag-kiss ka or close ka na. Oh, correct. Yes.
What if the parents of the date don't like you?
Take extra effort in showing them how good a person you are. Yes.
What if they won't let you in their house? Hold your horn. Where's your daughter? I'm just asking.
I'm just asking hypothetical questions. If they don't want to let you in the house, you cannot do anything. You say, sige sir, thank you very much. Wala na. Hindi ka naman sa akin take mo out. Kahit hindi ka masunod na. Ang yan na yung poker. Ang yan na yung pala. You cannot do anything. Instead, alright, start, gentlemen. Then you start working hard. Let the parents get to know you. Kung naging naga, kung lagi sa parents, ang kapresko-presko ng mga tao. Hindi na sila yung anong feeling, close na sila na yun. You know, and they're so casual already with the parents. So, please bear in mind that they are parents, you are just a visitor. You have to see the gap and recognize the gap.
Question.
You cannot be very respectful.
May question.
Nine.
Question.
So kung medyo okay na ka mga duwayan, a date always, binitin lang like what I mentioned earlier, you can arrange na ay walang kulang work, ako subong okay lang, okay lang, fine. Nakaya ko pwede na kami wala na gagawa. Yes.
What? Is it alright if the girl is going to fetch you?
Is it alright with the girl? If she doesn't mind, if she knows your limitations, kapag siya wala sa lakyan, siya yung may harap, kung wala kang biyak, pasundaman lang. As long as you're a driver, okay? He's a driver.
What time is the drive?
What are you now?
60.
17.
Alright, this is again, this is a sign that we seldom see now. But I'm sure there are many more because you will be aware of it. Now these are just gender role etiquette. So what does it say? The man walks on the outside next to the street. So for example, this is the sidewalk, right? This is the road. When you're walking, for example, from the sun going to Jollibee, okay? Where will you stand?
Danger side. Danger
The
side.
danger side is near the road, not inside. Yes? So kung lakad-lakad na kung you find yourself here, then slowly switch lang. And believe me, the girls will notice. Points na yan, okay, points na yan, okay, matabo. Sa time. Okay, so road na siya. Okay? So tingin ang direction sa car from there. Coming here, right? So if you find yourself on the right side,
Put yourself on the left side.
good, switch. Hey, pag switch, tabok, right? Sige, we'll go next side.
Switch naman.
Then,
Switch.
pabalikan na nila, they see that. And that's major focus. Okay, major nila yan. Sometimes the ladies are not comfortable with that. Naku, yun. Ang naku, yun. Ang mabalag na, hindi ka mabalag. Gusto mo ikaw na ako? Mabalag ka.
Amo ko na yan.
Don't say useless words. Now, that's how I feel. Okay, talking points nila yan. Wonderful talking points. Okay? So when you see a door, okay, when you get to the door and you know there are, whether you know the woman or not, but you know there's a woman behind you, open the door and So he joins wherever he does, whenever rather he did not have a game, he would join where the lady is, correct? So magsakay na sila sa jeep, sabi mo what he did, that's why doon na nami-namian dito. Pagsaka na sa jeep, sabi jeep na ni, so sa nakaan sa jeep, dili na siya yan. Sa nakaan, you know what he does? Ang girlfriend na siya, ito pa na yan sa punta, isa-isa yun na yan kung pinapasaka. Athlete na lang yan. Di ba athletes are really mga, ano na yan, hindi na tamad na formal. And yan, isa-isa yun na sa amazing. And then, syempre, pag ang last, ang girlfriend niya, last at siya. So, either ganay na sila or whatever. Pag untag na sa jeep, di ba manaog na siya? Sino una manaog? Di ba siya? Pag una yung manaog, isa-isa.
Wow.
Kami na. So, kabay pa. So, anywhere, building, yung mga jeep or bus naman nila. In a train, there's a train na doon ang car ay puno Sweden lang, so that's okay. Dali kayo subong, there are times sa bus na hindi na sila yung what do you call this, give up their seat. So I hope you are not like them. Makukuha mo give lang. Baka may mga old women, pregnant. So a good manner is the best letter of recommendation amongst people. Now why is it important to behave like that? You know how small the city is. Okay? Pagkita ng isang parents sa lahinat child, kamabal, ay kabalo ka na si Arman, ang muna siya galing mag-iho. May kami ba kung kabalos na si Arman, ang uyak sa batak niya, so sugira na nagugro ka si Arman. Gentleman, galing. So, even without you knowing, may nag-witness lang sa mata kong yung mag-iho. Nag-pogi points na sa parents. Hindi ka na pasundon. Pwede ka na sa gate lang. One steps, ng mga muna siya. Magamay sa kapon. So, kabalo ako si Arman. So, always be very, very conscious of your actions. Of course, not typical, never scratch your head, pick your teeth, clean your hair, and of course, worst of all, pick your nose.
Si Arman na.
No, sorry, what did you tell me? Erase, no Arman na. You not use Arman as an example.
Arman,
Padre ka namin.
First of all, di ba lahi-lahi man sa mga boys?
Umiiyak. Si Nora. I miss na. Hi, sir. Namiyan ka pa. Saan siya? Searching.
Of course, when you are going on a date and you want to impress the girl, never
Sir, kasadya pala, sir.
something that will leave behind a bad impression. Or even certain particles of your teeth or color, things like that. Yes.
What are onion?
Can I ask the gentleman at the back? Yes.
What are onion? You're going. What do you mean? What do you mean by onions there?
Onions, the onions. When you eat the onions, it smells, it leaves behind very bad smell. Ano ng onions? Ano ng onions?
How about onion ring?
Yes.
Is it advisable to bring meats in your pocket?
But as long as hindi ka mag-abuse that even there's a spray, right? Hindi ka
Sweet, you know? Sa Salle ba?
do not overspray yourself.
Toothbrush.
Or even if it's cologne or perfume, you do not overspray yourself.
Tapos ka, honors makakapag
But you want
Kabanyo
to have men who like ginananog na kami sa office niya. Kaya men, dali ka makakal. Wala na.
Tagal mo meat.
Happy man na siya na
Ako nga na ba?
So, do not be so fresco. Bago pa lang kamo nag-appreciate na kamo. Alright, conversation mistakes. Do not if you sing at tuod, may anak siya sa lahi, ka na. No, kung sa lahi utensils niya, na sa lahi yung niya, ikaon ka lang para kung observant siya, makita niya ka. Di mo ba, manood si or baka, oh, I'm sorry, you know what I heard? This is what, no. Because that is superior stance. So, kung habi yung pa-one ka lang para then, never gossip degree. Ang kontrarugit, for example, kung nag-group date ka mo, no? Okay? And all the boys will monopolize the conversations. Sabi pa kung may tupad ka man na boy, ikaw mo lang mga istorya, and then you disregard your date. That's bad manners. Ha? Kilala na yung nakamuntas, so na lang ako yung
Kapag i-disregard si Joshua.
alright, do not crack jokes that only you. Be very sensitive about your jokes. It should not degrade anyone. If you want a joke that will laugh at somebody, okay? If you want a joke that will laugh at somebody, share something funny that happened to you, not to anyone. Okay? So hindi ka pwede mag-isip, kabalo ka na natapos siya. Maski alam na siya. Pwede. Talk about how much something costs. Table. Di nagbakal sa oh, hindi pa rin sa Amerika.
Mas possible sa
No one is asking. Okay, no one is asking. So wala lang. Do not put too much attention to what you have if nobody is asking. Our personal opinion, an opinion about personal appearance of a person. Never, never, never make it guys. Never leave back. Even if pareho ka mo teacher, pareho ka mo because it speaks back. Of course, no. Most of the time, and then disregard your Never. Never talk about your past.
Wala akong pass.
Give mo na siya call. It's your call. Whether you want to say something but never speak clearly.
About past girlfriends.
Even if you
Gusto rin, sila sir sa date niya, Sir Anita si.
just, you know, you just say, I know
Sir Anita ni.
things like that.
Ang date niya pala Sir Anita si.
Never, never speak clearly. Okay, do not complain every secretary, dinano mo ni ka tubig, manalo, nano mo ni ka kutsara. Nobody wants to spend an entire evening with somebody, especially a guy, who complains and complains and complains. You are like this. Never name drop. Positive. Yung ko lang ako
Past girlfriends.
positive Villa. Si Manino. That is, hindi ko kaya. Hindi ko sa lawas. Masakit na kaya sa iba. Impress the person about you. Not of who you are because of other people. Okay, tinala ng pagkalaw. Never have conversation centered around you. So don't do the following, Juga. Unless you can inform because when you have gum, you get so tempted to crush the gum or what you call it. Yung naman pala, talk sa gum. Write your name.
Bergen pa hapon, naglupak.
Too much fragrance. Okay, this is what I shared with the first group. You know our nose, all our senses have what you call the process of adaptation. What is adaptation? Nag-a-adjust ka. Okay? So, for example, you left the house, you sprayed, hindi lang nag-cologne, perfume din siya. So you sprayed, perfumes are stronger, in scents compared to colognes. So you sprayed perfume. And after a few minutes, our nose can no longer detect that smell. Why? Kaya nang-anat na siya sa smell ta. That is what you call adaptation. So just because you cannot anymore detect the smell, does not mean you do not smell your perfume. So what is usually the thing to do? You get your perfume. Ano naman na, mali po ang okay, so be careful with your smell. Do not wear too much perfume. Kasakit na sa ito.
Yes, sir.
How many
Kung may asma,
sprays?
pakita mo din. Sampak na.
How many sprays? At least how many sprays?
For perfumes, you just have 1 or 2 sprays. Oo. Cologne, depende kung there are strong colognes though. Yeah, there are stronger ones. Mga becha, strong.
Nasa air.
So kung pwede, spray something not right before you meet the lady. Like a kapisong pa pala sa scent. So maybe a few, mga how many minutes pagid siya before you meet the girl. Para na na-dissipate na ang scent a little. So dress inappropriately. If you're going to be on a party, dress casually. If you're going to a dinner, dress appropriately. Okay? Okay, I'm sure you're not drinking. Do not make bodily noises, even if you so enjoy it. Okay? Be careful of the enjoyment of it. Once again, never gentlemen throw yourself in public. Don't get involved or object. Ang babae should never do that. They should know that. They don't know that. They can teach them. So how to have a great day? Compliment your girl. Okay? Smile from the heart. Smile ka. Kaya nag-exude. Out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth. So if your mouth is in the shape of a smile, yeah? But of course you have to know when to smile and when not to smile. Okay? So if she asks you about your lolo, kumusta si lolo mo? Oh, she died. Smile ka siya. Happy siya, happy. Or he died, but then happy. Okay, so kinalakapos para at least alert ka ng conversation. Okay? Ask questions. The ladies want to talk. Believe me. They love to talk. Okay, so ask questions. And be polite. Again, at the door. And pull the chair right away. Okay? Be careful with the wings. That's not, I will not welcome that. And then when you bring her home, always say thank you very much. I have a wonderful day. Hindi na pagkarap na parking ka. Sinabay. Okay? So ano naman mo, you get out of the car and go to her side, open. Alright. Who introduces Sulang para siya kabalo ka mo? Alright. Pinanlang tulong lang. Always mention the name of the person who is older, higher in rank, okay, and who is the tagiya of the house. Or the tagbalan. Kung pinagya. So kung ano si tita or si daddy or pinanan, tita, this is Cinderella. Cinderella, this is my tito. Tito Garman. Yes. Higher rank. Younger rank. Go with the rank. Except kung medyo tigulang ang partner, go with the older. Pero kung ang age lang is so little, marang he is a CEO. If you are in the company. Pero kung outside na wala man siya sa tagbalay niya, go for the age. Yes? Kung ano order, ano important sa circumstance. it. You forget about anything, you may remember the 93% and the 7%. This is for you. Above all, treat your day like always. And then you get it. All the points. If you open doors for her, if she needs something, una ka pa, give the person your dating with a memento. I remember from one of the students came after my talk, and he was asking about the corsage. And Christina shared her experience. A corsage that she bought for her son during a prom. Ibutangan niya siya may of course, kinanan should be of similar colors of gown. Ibutangan niya perlas, ibutangan niya certain nice things, because of corsage will become the memento of the girl, of the prom. Okay, so navigate, especially on the first day or a very special day, leave something. You know, the ladies are very sentimental. You know, some of them put them in the box pile, things like that. So it's nice to have something to remember for the ladies. I see much. Yes? So take extra and walking an extra mile lang sa akin. Okay. Any questions? Question, please.
Sarah, and then
Because sometimes you're so young, you get so full of yourself. You think the world is, catering to you all the time, things like that. So this is just a little story I came across with. And I like to share this with you guys. Okay, one day, a young man was standing in the middle of the town proclaiming that he had the most beautiful heart in the whole valley. A large crowd gathered and they all admired his heart, for it was perfect. There was not a mark or a flaw in that heart. Yes, they all agreed it truly was the most beautiful heart they had ever seen. The young man was very proud and boasted more loudly about his beautiful heart. Suddenly, an old man appeared at the front of the crowd and said, "Oh, why, your heart is not nearly as beautiful as mine." The crowd and the young man looked at the old man's heart. It was beating strongly, but full of scars. It had places where pieces had been removed and other pieces put in, but they didn't fit quite right, and there were several jagged edges. In fact, in some places, there were deep gouges where whole pieces were missing. The people stared. How can the old man say his heart is more beautiful? They thought. The young man looked at the old man's heart and saw its state and laughed. "You must be joking," he said. "Compare your heart with mine. Mine is perfect, and yours is a mess of scars and tears." "Well," said the old man, "yours is perfect looking, but I would never trade it with you." You see, every scar represents a person to whom I have given my love. I tear out a piece of my heart and give it to them. And often, they give me a piece of their heart, which fits into the empty place in my heart. But because the pieces aren't exact, I have some rough edges, which I cherish because they remind me of the love we share. Sometimes I have given pieces of my heart away, and the other person hasn't returned a piece of his heart to me. These are the empty gouges. Giving love is taking a chance. Although these gouges are painful, they stay open, reminding me of the love I have for these people too. And I hope someday they may return and fill the space I have waiting. So now, do you see what true beauty is? The young man stood silently with tears running down his cheeks. He walked up to the old man, reached into his perfect, young and beautiful heart, and ripped a piece out. He offered it to the old man with trembling hands. The old man took his offering, placed it in his heart, and then took a piece from his old scarred heart and placed it in the wound in the young man's heart. it fit, but not perfect. As there would be some, I wear, jagged edges. Wound in the arm. The young man looked at his heart, not perfect anymore, but more beautiful than ever. Since love from the old man's heart flowed into his, and they embraced and walked away with silence. Let me just say, two more things to share.
Very nice.
Jump shot.
Facebook.
One more, two more. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character, it becomes you. So with this, your school, your parents, and your friends are teaching you to always remember this. Delight yourself in the Lord, for He will always give you the desires for you. That's Psalm 37. Thank you very much.
What are you waiting for? You have to find your date na kasi ano gani ang upcoming? Valentine. Oh, it's Valentine. So it's a perfect na naka-learn ka mo sa how to apply all of this in your Valentine Day. Before we end, we would like to give Dr. Certificate of Appreciation. It says Integrated School Parents Association Incorporated, INSPA, in coordination with Guidance Services Center. This certificate of appreciation is given to Lisa A.D. in recognition of her valuable service as resource speaker during the INSPA and Guidance Services Center sponsored lecture program for the grade 10 boys on the topic appropriateness in dating, given the 4th day of February in the year of our Lord 2010. Signed, Joy F. Rebecca, President INSPA, Doris H. Dumaran, High School Vice Principal, Integrated School, Maria Selva Ralios, RGC Guidance Director, Integrated School, and Mrs. Maria Cristina Melinda Corrado, our Chairman, Parenting and